G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm joined this week by Algared. How you doing, mate?
What do you mean joined this week by me? You're always joined by me. It's occasionally we have an extra person.
Sometimes you're not here.
Very rarely.
I had to stream up in the background. I could hear the sound effects playing. Right. Yeah, it's really weird. The sun's up outside. Did you notice we started later today? It was so weird getting up. There was sun.
The sun has been up for many hours, Execute.
Yeah, but like normally we get up at like 5 a.m. and it's dark as hell. It was really strange. So I forgot to say this last week, but we are trying out some different times. I don't know if you've noticed. We did 4 a.m. We've done...
No, we don't like that time.
We did, what did we do last week? 9 a.m. last week?
9 a.m.
And now we're trying 11 a.m. And I think the last one I want to try is going to be a big one. Is probably 1 p.m. And the reason I'm trying those is to get all these different times, and then I can collate and kind of see where you guys mostly sit. And I need that last one to do. And Algared's been... No, you're changing my schedule!
Right. I've got to readjust the whole week just to make these work now.
How does he move a whole week for one day? I don't understand. But anyway,
See, certain jobs can't be done at certain times, so you've got to readjust things, you know. So you can't go shopping for the groceries
on a Tuesday. And I can
before you well, when you don't, you know, when you work or you've got other things you've got to do, you don't get that chance.
So you could go
on certain days you have to do stuff.
Could you go on a Sunday?
No, Sunday's busy.
Or a Friday evening?
Yeah. On the days I don't work, yes. On the days I work, it's...
Oh, you don't live close to a supermarket like me, do you? Yeah.
No.
You live in Sydney where everything's spread out and takes hours to get everywhere.
Yeah, it's not just across the road like it is for you.
Yes. Well, actually, lucky. I'm very lucky. I've got two right close to my house.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll do a Monty Python line here, just for those who know. You lucky bastard. So.
Okay. There wasn't really a lot this week. Other than the engineering test, which is what I've obviously done as the data pad today.
And we were chatting about this beforehand, and you know, you were saying people aren't ready, and I'm saying, look, I know people aren't ready. People still think they're going to be able to take their Idris solo and not have issues.
And I didn't mean it like that.
And I know when it comes, that ain't going to happen. That's.
I meant it more along the lines of, it's like normally we're used to like one feature coming in, right?
Yep.
And it is a very big feature, but it's got all these interconnected pieces to it. And that, like, if you just take the when shit goes wrong part of it, you've got fire, you've got sucking people out of airlocks, you've got no oxygen, you've got all these type of things. And it's so it's a multi-part system that's coming in. And I think one of the reasons it's taking so long is they know that if it's not somewhat polished, they're going to get a lot of complaints, because there'd be a lot of cart before the horsing with this stuff. And they've just essentially got to turn it on, because it's going to be too complicated. And there were issues and bugs in the test, right? But the part of it that I would share is like those of you that have been around since the early days of Star Citizen, it's seeing the promise of what's possible and seeing what it was. I was like, this is amazing. And the way I've explained it to several people, like I was on Paul's stream yesterday and I talked to him about it, was everything you've seen of, say, a ship up until now, like an attack craft or something like that, combat ship, literally double it. It's that complicated. And I don't mean complicated as in it's really complicated. It's actually quite easy to understand. But it essentially is two sides of the same coin. You've almost got like your repair and maintenance and your attack and, you know, like the pilots that's sitting there and using it, and then you've got the other guy that's got to keep it running.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like, people aren't ready for just even the fact that the crap's going to hit the fan and you're going to need to go and repair it. And what you're indicating is those different elements of repair and the engineering aspects are even more than we were even thinking. And so it's tenfold what we're expecting. And well,
I had some, so I was in an Apollo, and because I got in a Paladin, and it was clearly an older build of the Paladin, like it had white doors and stuff like that weren't textured. So I went, well, if I just go back one more ship, got the Apollo, no issues. So I used the Apollo, and it was all working good. When I got in, defaultly it had a bung cooler, so the ship wouldn't turn on. And when you go into the MFD for the engineering console, it literally has like a 3D view that you can go right around the ship. You can see you can tick the components off and on. You can tick all the connected fuses off and on. But there was a yellow one. I went, oh, I know where that is. And I just walked straight there, hit it with a repair tool, went from 97% to 100, and ship just was then able to work. But then there was like, I caused problems myself. I'm going to be honest. Like, so I started pulling the components out to see which ones could come out and go in. By the way, before I forget, they had the batteries in, they had the life support in, they had the radar in. There was all these components I'd never seen before. And I'd also add, just while I'm on top of that, when I went to Platinum Bay to pick up stuff for my repair tool, I swear, and the person that was with me, I asked them, and they said the same thing. There was a yellow shield that we'd never seen before. So we also think there possibly is new components coming, not just.
And that makes sense.
Yeah,
and that makes sense.
Yeah,
so CIG, I've been working on this and developing the engineering stuff for a while. We know over half a dozen different shield manufacturers or component manufacturers, and we've still only got the scratchings of the surface of what they offer. So
they've done a complete pass on all the components, and clearly they found that there's some gaps, and I reckon that's why there's some new ones. So then when I was putting the components back in, this is the stupidity of what I did, right? Was because I pulled the power plan out, it essentially reset the computer. So when I put the component back in and then turned the ship on, it turned all of them off. And then I just turned on, knowing what I used to know, I turned on the weapons, the engine, and the power. I didn't turn the coolers on.
Yeah.
Let's just say fire ensued, and we'll leave it at that. Nothing else went bad. It was just a small fire. It was.
You didn't.
I wasn't trapped. The doors weren't closed, and I burned horribly alive or anything like that. It was all fine. It was. There was a fire extinguisher, but it was pretty hot, so I got a tan. We'll leave it at that.
But he was crispy. Let's just say he was crispy.
The smoke effects on the fire extinguisher are awesome. Like the way they hit surface, like they've just got to. Normally you get in a game and it's just like it shoots smoke, right? And it's just like a cone. It's like it actually interacts with surfaces and curves, and it can be kind of like pushed by the fire and all this type of stuff. And the fire's the same.
You're saying that CIG have actually really pushed for fidelity of.
It's almost got minor fluid dynamics. I don't know how else to explain that. You know how like air moves through a place and fire moves through a place? They've really, it's...
It makes sense when you think of how long they spent doing the fire propagation and working out how it spreads and how it moves and all of that background, R&D stuff that's taken years. How many times did we see over the years? How many years were we seeing the fire propagation and the fire management and that being developed?
Well, that's kind of
like a never-ending story, didn't it?
Well, we saw all these little pieces along the way, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just engineering. There's a lot that's coming with engineering. And I think they probably should have highlighted it on that. Like, it's something that they should have said. This isn't just engineering. This is this, and this, because it was very clear to me that it was quite large.
Yeah, and I think the very basic part of engineering is just your fuses, and we've got that at the moment. In most ships, we've got that at the moment. But we always knew that fire was part of that engineering gameplay, because as things got damaged, you got fires and you had to put them out. But even though we knew that, even though I knew that, it wasn't something I was thinking, but it does make it so much bigger, doesn't it? It is one of the things I have been looking forward to. I know people said, what am I most looking forward to? And they often say, what ship are you most looking forward to? They never really say what systems you're most looking forward to. And we often say scanning, but really engineering.
The reason I say scanning is just because it'll kick the game off. But I'd have to sit there and really think about what's the one I think I'm going to enjoy playing the most.
Well, we often say scanning because of the gameplay that comes in with that. But engineering also has that massive gameplay. It doesn't add any new gameplay loops in terms of, bounty hunting or combat. But it does add a whole pile of gameplay loops within our ships, whether it's the fighters or the multi-crew or the capitals. And just, being around in a ship that as multi-crew, and even just being a crewman running around and putting out the fires and just making sure everything's running smoothly. That has an appeal.
The other thing that was missing was armor. They are going to fake armor in this initial stage, and I'm going to be honest with you, it really does need it, because right now with no armor, essentially you can use ballistics, and ballistics are going to be king if it was how it was right now, because they literally go straight through shields, in through a ship, and if you can hit a component, it can literally catch on fire. Fire on a ship uncontrolled is just deadly. I heard reports of someone let a grenade go in the engineering room of an Intrepid, and they couldn't. They had two guys with the fire extinguishers trying to put it out, and they couldn't put it out. That's how bad it was, because all the components caught on fire.
We're fried. What they need to do in that case is open up a ship, vent it.
See, that's the other thing. When you vent a ship, refill it with oxygen, it overworks the life support, and that heats up and it can't cool down. So
but you wear your suit. Like if you're doing damage repair, you wear your suit.
And this is where you need to listen. I'm telling you, there's a cost. You can do that.
There's always going to be a cost.
But you're going to break the life support and you're going to cause a fire.
You turn your life support off.
It's not as simple. No, they've deliberately thought of people going, oh, there's a fire, let's just put it out by that. Your first thought was to vent everything, right? That's what you just said, right? Well, they've thought of that, and they've put mechanics in, so you can't do that.
Well, you can. You've just got to do other things to.
No,
you've got to
because when
manage it, you've got to turn your life support off, and
no, because heat remains. And then the heat will turn into a fire again. So you can put it out, but it'll come back. And this is the problem. Yeah. So I'm trying to stress to you, it's not as simple as you just said.
It's not just a matter of vent it and then do it. You'd vent it, the heat remains. You then can deal, because the fire's there, you can then deal with each component and repair them. But it's not going to be a straightforward, bang, my uncle. I even as I say that, I know there's lots of other steps.
They've put stuff in where it causes all these heat issues and stuff like that, and generally the fire will go out and it'll start again. It's not they've literally thought of that. They are like, well, if everyone could just open the door and put the fire out, and that's the easy fix. No, they've made it more complicated than that. So I think you're in for a rude shock. Anyone that thinks they're just going to vent a fire every time it happens, no.
No, I think you're right. They want it to be not just press a button.
What does he mean by that? I don't get it. Sorry, Flying Wombats 777 says, X or Algared, any news on the man NPC?
The main NPC?
I don't know what he means by that. He's talking about like NPCs, I think, like manning your ship.
Yep.
I think they will help out, but you got to remember there's a cost to that. So you are paying them in Alpha UEC, and I think most people would agree an NPC is probably never going to be quite good as a human player. They'll do rudimentary things, but they can't think autonomously. They're not sentient like we are.
It's that whole thing like in other games where you can have NPC doing stuff, and they'll function and do stuff, and they'll react according to the program. But a player can always go, everything says run, and the player says, no, I'm staying.
Yeah.
It's that random aspect of players that can throw into the works.
If I was to put my developer hat on for a second, Flying Wombat, I'd think it is in priority terms. I wouldn't want to start programming AI for something till I was kind of like knowing it was in a solid state. So I think you'd tend to find the AI might come in parts, but you'd want to make, so let's just take mining, for example, right? Because mining's probably a bit further along, or salvage, they're further along as well. That's probably where I'd start to see AI do stuff first, because that is like further along and more completed. But I think they would really want to be in a state where they were really super happy with it, like being quite polished, and then put the AI on top, because otherwise they've got to go back and if they make any changes to mining, then they're going to make changes to AI. And you can think about all the development you've seen, they really don't like doing things twice. So they'd want to be really happy where things are before they put an AI on top, I think.
Yep. As Arcane Danger says, fast, good, inexpensive. Pick two, i.e. metaphor and NPC. Yeah, so you know.
We got the good and inexpensive. Didn't get the fast.
Yeah. But you know, but that's, and I could see, you know, that the AI, they do want NPCs, and they do want the to have that element there. And I think for a lot of our big ships, and I've seen people complain, oh, you know, people will want to use AI to just run their ships, you know. But I can see even on a Polaris where you've got your human crew, you're still going to want the AI crew just to make that ship feel lived in, just to make it feel like it's a functioning ship.
Right. Now I stupidly forgot to put the bot up, but the bot is now up. I totally forgot. I got it into my little engineering talk there, and
yes, I can see the questions now scrolling in.
Yeah, there's a couple coming in. But yeah, as always, this stream lives and dies on questions. So when the questions run out, we will wrap up. But yeah, if you've got any questions for me about engineering, I will try to answer them. But just know I didn't get to see everything. There just was not enough time. It is quite an interesting system. I am very excited to get back in and try it, and I think a lot of you are going to be really excited. It was my kind of takeaway was we're moving from essentially combat ships that we've kind of had up until this point to more that they feel more livable. Like I can now see myself living in these things, and we're seeing that progression from they're just JPEGs to up until this point they were ships that you'd seen in other games, but you could walk around inside them. Now they're living areas,
that's
spaces.
A big difference now, isn't it?
Yeah. Like you're going to be repairing them and maintaining them and stuff like that. And I start to even look at that in buildings as well, like how to maintain a building. Like a building is essentially going to be like a ship, but that's just stuck on the ground and can't move. That's kind of my takeaway. And I'm just really excited to see what other people think of this system, because it really is the other side of the coin that we've just never had. And you can now very easily see how bigger ships are going to have an advantage. Like the smaller combat ships from people I talk to, they get a one-time free repair, and they're going to need it. I'm going to be honest, they absolutely going to need it, because if they need to repair, they've literally got to stop, get out of their ship and repair.
Yep.
So they're completely exposed and completely, you can't do that in the middle of combat.
No.
But after that free repair is gone, you are completely on your own. So essentially, once a component breaks, it's your time to bug out. It's like, okay, free repair on that and get out, because if anything else breaks, I'm done. So they get 1 out of jail free card, and I think that's kind of fair. In fact, I actually kind of wish that was an extra component, like some kind of like little droid. You know, how
like an R2 unit.
Yeah,
R2, tie down that, you know.
Yeah. Something like a little repair drone or something, or a repair bot that attaches to the outside of combat ships that just goes off, repairs the one component, and then
get shot and
an
R2.
Well, I'd make it like it was like a nano or something, like it's full of nanites or something, and so it actually consumes itself to do the repair. And I'd also make it fairly expensive, like not super expensive, but make it cost, so they can't just like use them all the time.
The idea of it being a component, like taking a component space, being a spare component type thing, makes sense. I like the idea of a drone just because it cries out R2, you know.
Yeah.
The old, you know, the Star Wars, hey R2, tie down that thing, and then R2 gets blown up after he's done that one repair, you know. So
Grim, if you're not working, you're more than welcome to jump in, buddy, if you want to join us.
Because we always like having an extra, you know that.
No, we didn't sleep in. We're just trying different times, right? We just want to kind of, you know, try. We're going to try a little bit around and just see where the audience is and see what times work best for everyone. Obviously, I probably should have announced this one. We are going to try another one later as well. I don't think that's the last one I want to try. And that'll be probably 1 p.m. So 2 hours after we started today. And just to see the different times and see what works best as for the entire audience. It's not something we've really had the luxury to do up until now.
It's something we haven't looked at, and it's but it's also like, we look at our sub count and we go, man.
It's not just sub count though, but it allows me to do other things.
It is a whole lot of other things, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I have to shift my sleep around every week. To make this switch, so because I got to do stuff on Sunday and Monday, and I essentially go to bed at 4 a.m. and then I've got to move it back like 2 days, start moving back 2 days later to get ready for the stream.
Yep.
But if I can move this to this time, then I can just keep it where it is, and that frees me up to do other things. Like I'd probably stream more, and stuff like that. So there's some things that we've got to do. He's got fam stuff tonight, but we'll lurk a bit. Thanks for the appreciate. Yeah, no worries, Grim. You take care, man. And say hello to the Overlord and the Underling for me, if you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. We've got a couple of questions there. If you would like to.
I will say, we do have a couple. But if I suddenly disappear, it could be that there's been a lightning strike. I've just heard the rolling thunder.
I was going to say you put a blue shirt on again, but okay, sure.
No.
Not like last week where you were transparent. Completely transparent development doesn't work that way, Algared, but okay, go. Right.
No. It was my view of transparent development. But no, that was my my spooky Day of Vara type shirt.
Yeah. All right. So first question is from Viper Leo, who says Execute mentioned batteries were in. Can he go into detail? When I say they were in, the physicalized components were in. Right, so the batteries were actually I don't think the batteries were physicalized, but I did see the life support, and there was a slot for like an item. I have to assume there's some kind of carbon filter for life support.
That makes sense.
They had the radar in. I remember seeing that, and I remember seeing there was one other one. I can't remember the last one. Maybe it was I don't quite remember seeing a battery though. But there was more components than what we'd normally had.
Yep.
So they've definitely been working with things in the background. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the game that was in a single system, and it was a survival game.
And it started with H, didn't it?
And it started Hellion.
Yeah, that's it. I was there with you, bro. I was trying to remember it too. Yeah,
because Hellion's life support systems did the same thing. You had to, had the carbon filters. You had to replace them. Love that game. Love that for a space game and doing the maintenance of a ship. That was a game that really kind of picked up a lot of that. You had to continually repair stuff. You had to put fires out. You had to change components or upgrade things. You had to find the bits and pieces. Once you found a fabricator, you could actually make the components you needed. But yeah, and I can see CIG kind of moving us down into that kind of survival.
I can definitely see that being a thing, like survival elements, like these people, especially people that push themselves out into the extreme and explore like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can, like, now having played the engineering, you can totally see why the character has so much shit going on, because it's going to need it. Like going out there, you are totally, utterly alone.
and you remember the kind of little game that they, the little game they put out when the carrot came out, the going out into the verse, trying to find things and all the little things that would come up, you need to repair this. Oh, you found a wreck, so you've got some fuel. Oh, and I can see all of that stuff that we had in that kind of vanilla flavored little side game, just being all the stuff they want to pull into Star Citizen. And so looking forward to all of that.
Yeah, I definitely think after we kind of have base building and crafting come in, I think we'll then see some repair ships come in. I'd have to assume, you correct me if you think I'm wrong here. I remember back in the day we actually scoffed at Paul when he said this, but I start to think of a starter repair ship now under the Vulcan without drones, and it would essentially be akin to something like the Carrack's repair area, but just in the back of a small ship.
Yeah, but it wasn't that we scoffed at Paul when he said that. It was that they'd put out the Vulcan as a starter repair ship, even though it was a medium ship. And so it was, and Paul's argument, I think, is valid looking back now.
Well, you look back now,
it was a medium-sized ship, and we want a small ship.
Exactly. So you've essentially got room for two underneath. You've got a small that's like your prospector size, and then you got one that's like your starter, that's like a golem. I'm talking something like essentially akin to the golem, which would essentially just be something where you repair components, and maybe small vehicles, but it's just all hand tools. It's just that you have the tools there ready to go. It's like a roadside assist vehicle, literally. You know, and then I don't know, then you go up to the next one and maybe it's got more of a repair bay or something like that. But you know, it'd be really interesting to see how that comes out. But I have to think repair's in there somewhere after base building, because it's just the inverse of the system, isn't it? Like repair is essentially a mini building. And what I mean by that is like when you build a building, you do it from start to finish. A repair is like just halfway through and going up, you know? That's what I mean. So, it's just logical that would be very soon. I'd almost put it before salvage in a weird way, because salvage is taking it all the way down. That's almost more work than just going up from repair. But yeah, I'd have to see that those things are in there pretty soon.
And the thing with the Vulcan, Ray, is it only has drones. You know, basically, if you want to do something else, you've got to get out a ship and do it by hand. The Vulcan is just drones.
Yeah, and so when I look at the Vulcan, that's why I can't start to think we might see a smaller one first, because it's just something else they've got to tackle. Where if they just focus on something smaller that doesn't have the drones, it easily removes all those problems.
Yeah, indeed.
Crucible,
and we've often always said that salvage and repair are also opposite sides of a coin. So
I'd have to assume Algared, and I don't know if you agree. I think technically when the Crucible came out, it was a large, but I think would probably end up being the capital now, because it's got to grow so much. I don't know if you would agree with me on that.
I'd have to look at the components. I don't think it had capital components originally, but I could be wrong.
No, I don't think it does. Let's do it live. Why not? Wiki Crucible. I didn't bring everyone across, did I? Right, let's do that. Real quick. Is everyone across? They are. Sweet. Right.
Large.
Size 3, yeah, they're all large. Propulsion and thrusters all large. So, you're right. There's absolutely no capitals in it. So, technically speaking, they could just leave this as a large, but Algared and I will also tell you it does have to grow because of metrics. I think, quite honestly, I'd be taking the opportunity to turn this into the capital, because it has to grow because of things that it was promised. I think it's a little bit like the Reclaimer, and definitely a lot like the Endeavour.
Yeah, well, we know that it's got to grow just because of the fact that the Hornet size grew, and the Scarab is a garage for a Hornet size ship. And fully enclosed with a fighter in there.
And it's probably up due for some other changes too, because of the way the arms work. Like it's literally got sets of arms inside. So it's got its own arms, right, that just kind of sit there stationary. But it's got arms inside here and arms on the outside for bigger things, which is just kind of ludicrous. It doesn't. You could probably, now they've got tracks. They could essentially just have tracks that go over the arms and have one set of arms, and it just moves on a track. Like that's how I would do it. But I'm not a developer. They might find a cooler way to do it.
They may they might find an easier way. They may find a better way. But the fact that they've got tracks working for turrets now, I could see them leveraging that for a repair arm, because it's almost like a remote turret. So that's how I'd at least see a repair arm working. You go in, so. Yeah.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking about it. You know how they've actually got the track that the arm kind of goes backwards and forwards on. If you actually made it so it was a loop, you could literally just have it so it goes over, and then you could come back down the other side like that. So you could literally have it like a loop, and you can go all the way around if you want.
Yep. And don't forget that the Crucible also is probably the only ship, and I hope they keep it where the engines would actually move to adjust the center of mass.
I think there are moves to kind of remove that a little bit, because there's talks about this not needing to rotate anymore, because this is technically the back of the ship, and it I was hearing things that they were going to make it so it doesn't rotate anymore and it just flies in that direction. So this whole thing would be think about it, if this is like rotisserie restaurant, that would simplify the hell out of the ship by a lot.
Yeah, I kind of hope if it's a multi-cruise ship, it doesn't need to have that rotating bridge, because the bridge actually rotated to repair position.
There's a reason, by the way, me and Algared talk about this ship so much, right? I'm actually in talks with an org at the moment at Algared. You know how I've been trying to do a fix my org for how many years now? I think I may have found one, right? Okay. And like every other org, what's the number one ship they are lacking?
The Crucible.
Every single org we come across, so you'll have medical ships out the wazoo, right? But repair is essentially medical for ships. Now, you guys logically think, what's going to get damaged more? What do you replace more? Your character or your ship? And yet there's less of them. How does that pan out? It just does not make any sense. So there is a whole bunch of ships we're missing.
And especially when you think, you talk to orgs and they say, oh yeah, we've got Reclaimers and Polarises and Idrises and Krakens and Ironclads and all the massive big ships. And they may have some repair ships in there, or they may have Vulcans. But you're going to need the Crucible or the bigger repair ship to repair capital ships. It's just, So yeah. But that is, we're known as the cult of the Crucible and the Endeavour. Take your pick of which one, because they're both still.
But it's just that we saw that this was lacking, and again, I think it'll become more prevalent as more repair ships come in. I think that's a part of it. Let's be honest; we're essentially only missing, as far as you and I can work out, there's that one little armored medical vehicle that's missing. Besides that, though, we've got every single medical ship now, right? So, but look at the Crucible. We've got the Crucible. And we've got a Vulcan. We're missing a shit ton. We don't have a vehicle. We don't have a small or a starter. We don't have. We either need a capital above this or a large. I seem to think that this will be the capital, and they'll probably make another large.
I tend to think that's the case as well, because this does everything.
And it's pretty complicated.
Yeah, you'll remember when we did our deep dive, we were going through and we went, oh yeah, it's got. It's got drones. It's got drones.
It literally can repair every ship in the game, even an Idris. So
and even with its engines moving, there was a position on it when went through the video. You could actually access the engines from inside the ship. On this, you could actually to repair them.
It can repair itself, which is what was crazy.
It was. I'll stop gushing. I'll stop gushing. That's all I can say.
But even the style now has probably changed. Knowing this is Anvil, I'd have to assume, Algared, you tell me if you think I'm wrong, but when I look at that, I think Jace Aerospace. I think so. What I'm saying to those that are not listening is, I think it's more like a Hurricane than like an F8.
Yeah, I'd like to hope it's an
older
one
design.
Of the earlier designs that they had, or at least got some of a mix of that design language. But yeah,
very, very cool style. I love the circular. I think the only other one like this I can think of is the Aquila. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but yeah. All right, I think we can kind of.
It is one of my favorite ships. I actually own 3 of them. That's how much I do like this ship, and it's people who
one for each javelin, Algared.
What is it 4?
Oh my god!
It might be 4.
Oh, I need an intervention
because I keep forgetting that in the big pack there's 1.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I remember the time he lost one of the javelins, and it was like he'd lost it under the bed or something. The way he was talking about it. Oh god.
But one of the things that make this ship, I think, valuable, certainly worth considering, if you're someone who's got various ships or you're someone who is interested in repair, this ship is still at its original concept sale price.
Yeah.
Just like the Endeavour, still at its original price.
It's that same thing we say every time. Pick up a Gemini to an Endeavour or a Gemini to a Crucible for $10 and just sit on it. Even if you're unsure, it's a $10 investment. And if that thing comes out and you kind of go, oh shit, I want that. Cool. If you don't want it, melt it and put it into something else. So it's just, you're only going to cost you $20 to save those 2 ships, and that's it. Yep. And the Gemini is probably more than likely not going up in price unless it gets a massive rework, and they could pump that just to piss everyone off. Because if say it went up by $50, that means you'd have to kind of go up and come back type of thing. It's the type of thing someone evil would do.
But if you've already got your, if you've already bought a Citizen Ninja, yes, it could get lost in my hangar.
Yes. Wouldn't be the first time for you, Algared.
No, but if you've got a dang Ninja, you made me forget what I was going to say.
Oh, well done. No, it'll come back to you. It's all good.
What were we talking about? We were talking
Crucible, javelins,
Crucible repair. If you've got any large ship or you're interested in doing it, I reckon you're nuts if you don't look at picking up one of those ships. And even if you did buy, even if you bought your upgrade from a Gemini to the Crucible and you've got it sitting there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they jack up the price of the Gemini after that. You can still apply a Gemini to a Crucible. It just means, you're doing a stepward back, but so what? It's not costing you anymore. You
can also buy another linkage, like you could buy, say, like a Mole to a Gemini, something like that, to pull back yourself if you want. The other thing I have to agree with you on, if you have a capital ship like an Idris or a Kraken or an Orion or something really, really big, and you're looking for another ship, I think a Crucible is really worthy investment for that other big ship, like you said. If you break down at all, you are completely beholden to other people to get you out of there. And the only way kind of around that to fix that is a repair ship, and the Crucible is the most capable of repairing. Like, in the concepts, there was 2 Crucibles repairing an Idris, right? So even then, it was implying that it wasn't big enough to quite do it on its own. So,
even when they first had the idea of a Crucible, the Crucible was originally a ship that would build. The initial idea was it would build a scaffold around the ships it was repairing. Yeah, it would be able to seal up breaches and as it was that type of major repair ship. It's not like a little acetylene torch on an MPUV for minor repairs. It's not a jaw for bending something back. It was a ship for basically, ripping out a whole panel and putting a brand new panel in. It was it'll be able to do the manufacturing, like printing holes and stuff too. I actually think eventually now it'll probably be able to make ships from scratch. I'm not kidding. No,
I think
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Real quick, Citizen Ninja just said this, and I want to stress this too. He's reminded me of a thing, and I saw that. So he said, I have a bunch of those CCUs in my buyback. The problem with them being in your buyback, if the ship comes out and it goes up in price, the buyback goes up in price. So you do need to have it sitting in your hangar, not in your buyback. I just would like, thank you for reminding me, Citizen Ninja. I'm not picking on you. I'm just taking the example you've giving and showing that.
And in the past, you'd say, when you thought it was going up, you'd pull them out of buyback. And I think that's what he's really asking. Is it time to pull them out of buyback? Can't tell you. Yeah. Honestly, can't tell you. For years, how many years have we been saying, hey, this is the last time to get an Endeavour at its cheap price?
I think, I don't think I've been saying that. I think we're just waiting for it to go up, but I think it's literally going to sit there until we hear about it.
It's not that we expected to. It's not that I've expected the Endeavour to come out. It's just that it was so cheap and it could do so much. I've always expected the price to go up.
Well, you know how people kind of go on about the 600i rework. Like, I sit here and think of all these other ships that need it just as badly. Like, where's the Reclaimer? Where's the Starfire? Where's the Endeavour? Where's the Crucible?
And they haven't even gone into at least, white stage or whatever they call it. The grey boxing or of it. So and some of those ships need it even more.
Yeah. So I have to think there's
yeah.
a lot of people that picked up 600 eyes then. That's the only thing I can think of, is that they were trying to put those people at ease. So yeah.
Yep. I could see that.
All right. Next one.
All right, let's do another question.
Please.
I'm sure we got another question to do. Let's just go back into our channel and find. Hang on.
Will Sawyer. Will Sawyer.
Yep. I've got it. I'd actually switched out because I was looking for something, so I actually
good. Go for
lost the question stream as well. So, oh wow, pages. Okay, Will Sawyer. How can CIG balance large ship requiring an engineer and large crews versus a single fighter, i.e. a person needing 4 to 6 crew versus a flight of 4 to 6 solo diverse fighters?
Weight and balance, negativity, positivity. There's many ways.
Yep. Number of hit points to disable the ship.
But I think you would have to agree though, the more people, the more powerful something should be, right?
Yeah.
It is always easier to do stuff on your own. And I know I pull out World of Warcraft a lot, but it's a really good example. You could pull out any MMO, couldn't you, Algared? Yep. You know, you do something on your own, it's pretty easy. And then, you know, you get together with other people. Now it becomes more of a chore because you have to work with other people, but then the rewards go up.
Yeah.
As does the difficulty.
You look at the way a Zerg will do, you know, in PvP in games will just waltz through an area, just with impunity.
Yep.
They'll just, you know, and it takes another Zerg to take them down. If you're solo and you come across even a party, you're wiped out.
Yep.
It's that type of dynamic. And
Chris always said too, didn't he? He goes like the same number of people in one ship should be better than the same number of people in individual ships. He said that himself multiple times.
Well, you look at what he used to say about the Connie. You know, the Connie should be able to go up against, you know, a crew on a Connie was 4 people, and a Connie should have been able to take on, I think it was 3.
2 or 3 is what he said at the time.
2 or 3 Hornets, and win 50% of the time. So how does that balance work? Well, just as we were talking about repair, if you get damaged in a fighter, okay, you get your 3 repair, but then you've got to go out and bug out because once it goes.
I don't remember the 50% of the time thing, but maybe I'm remembering wrong. But yeah, just keep going.
But if you get you know, if you're in a multi-crew ship, one of the gunners leaves that station and starts going repair. You've still got your firepower going. If you need to hop out of your fighter to do repair, there's nothing. So that's another way you see the balance. So
you've got more choices in a bigger ship, I think, is what you're trying to say there.
Yeah, more options. And you know, do I take 2 gunners off and have 2 people doing repair? Does my ability to reverse, you know, to keep the ship in the fight longer just because we're repairing mean that we outlast the fighters?
It's going to be interesting. I can just, my brain instantly went to all the people complaining about the flight model, and I went, if that was what they were like about the flight model, holy shit, they're in for a world of hate. Because like I can just see right now people are like, I just want to fly my ship and deliver cargo. Or whatever, you know, whatever the thing is they want to do.
Robert JT says solos will get killed regardless of engineering. I expect solos in big ships are not going to be function. The ships are.
I think it really
it's going to be too hard.
It literally shows, Robert, that you're going to need someone to play engineer. So basically, if you're still in with a chance, by the way, you're in a fighter, because if you know the other ship really well and you know where that component is and you're a really good shot and you can start a fire and they've only got 1 repair guy, and then you take advantage of that guy not being on an attack, or you take another system or something like that, you can start to essentially pluck them apart, you know, and the weaknesses is their components. But by the same token, if they can do the same to you in a turret and they can get hits on you, they're going to do exactly the same thing. So basically, we've all got more weak points now, basically.
Yes. And the big thing we were talking about there was not necessarily a solo player on a big ship, but a bigger ship with crew fighting 3 or 4 fighters.
Yep. Well, you imagine I'm thinking of things like, I'm probably remembering the wrong ship, but you know the Saber. I know the Saber's one, right? But the Saber has 3 components in a row, 3
Yep.
components in a row, and 3 components in a row. So if you literally hit that from any side straight on or from the back straight on, you could take out 3 components in one shot. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, so fighters are pretty susceptible to getting screwed. That's what I'm going to say. And so I look at something like the Mercury Star now and go, oh boy, I don't want all those components in one room anymore. Like, because
I want them spread all over. Well, we've said that all along. You know,
that ship's always going to be turned to the left because it's going to be trying to hide that component. No, don't shoot me. Every time.
Like we always said, you know, even if you were boarding the ship, it was a nightmare because all you had to do was just chuck a grenade in that room. And the example from engineering really showed it, didn't it?
Yeah, I have no doubt what happened to the Intrepid would happen to the Crusader. And here's another thing that Paul brought up as well that I hadn't thought of, is Crusader ships with all the tunnels all of a sudden, you know, all the doors. That's actually protection because it stops fires and shit. It's annoying, but it stops fires.
Fire's contained in that area. I can close that room off and the oxygen in that room is gone.
Well, you can actually vent rooms now from the engineering console. So you can actually go, that room there, vent.
And because you're not venting the whole ship, that enables you, you know, that doesn't put as much pressure on on the life support when you're trying to recharge it, which, you know, so
and if Algared's in there,
options.
If Algared's in there sleeping and I have to vent the room, that's just a bonus, you know, like, who cares? You know, the fire had to be put out.
Note to self: always wear suit when sleeping.
When napping,
yeah. Make sure I always have oxygen in suit. Right. Yep.
Okay, we've got a couple of first-time chatters there, so I like to call them out. So Jaco Blaise says Monocrew ships have pocket healers with engineering. Fighters don't. Engineering will be nerfed. To solo monocrew ships, but a buff will when actually crewed. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it in a nutshell. You want to fly in a big ship, it needs to be crewed.
Yeah, you know, and I got to admit, I love flying the large ships. I love flying the Reclaimer. That's a ship I've been taking out at the moment. But even I know the Reclaimer is not a solo person ship. You want more crew.
So that org that I was talking about, the Fix My Org, I actually went out with them about a week, maybe a bit longer ago now, maybe 2 weeks. And we were in a fully crewed Idris. Every turret had 25 people in it. We ran into 2 Polarises and 2 Idrises and killed them all. Because they were not fully crewed.
Yep.
And we just, like, you thought you had seen gunfire? You have no idea what gunfire is. That's all I'm going to say.
Until every turret is manned and can pick on a target.
No, but and there's 4 other ships shooting at you. Holy shit. And I was in that front ballistic turret, and my job was to target the other capital ship's main primary weapon. So I was like taking out, I think the other guy had a railgun. My whole job was to and I took out the railgun, and that guy he was screwed because he couldn't just pilot a single pilot anymore.
And he was probably a single pilot with just using his main gun. Yeah.
And then I did the same thing on the other guy, and it was glorious, right? Now, how many, this is the question I asked you, and I asked the audience to start to think about outside the box. How many more people to those 25 people do we have to add for engineering?
Yep.
That sounds amazing to me. I just love that idea that there's like, is it another 5? Is it another 10? Is it another 25?
And the other thing is, like, on those large ships, one of the ways you're going to try and take out a large ship is board it.
Yeah.
And so you're going to not only need engineers, like if you get disabled, you want people on engineering to try and get you functioning again. Yeah. But you're also going to need, at that point, you're going to want your Marines or your fighters, because you're going to have people trying to board you, because that's how you take up a ship.
But to Jacoby's point, the reason I'm bringing up the engineering stuff and stuff like that is literally what he said. Like, multi-crew ships with crew is a boon, but it shows that we had a fully crewed Idris. They had the same ships and they got floored. It's not a ship that is important. It's the number of people you can put on a ship. And it's the people working together. Like, the communication was amazing. Like they were all talking to each other and like calling targets. And there was literally a guy in the captain's chair, and he was just like making calls like a crazy madman. And everyone was like he'd feed it like, so they had their Discord set up in such a way that he could talk to the turret gunner, like head turret gunner guy, and then the turret gunner guy would go, all turrets focus this. And then because I was on a different turret, I was actually directly talking to the captain because he gave me direct orders because I was to take out specific things. But they had it all broken up into little things like that. So it had all this trickle down shit, and it was like a fine old machine. I loved it. It was amazing. Just to see this teamwork was nuts.
And it's that type of thing that is going to make the difference in any multi-cruise ship. But the more you play with a group of people, that group of people, the better you will be. And it'll be like, you know, when you're in an MMO and you go with your regular party to do a job, or you go with a pickup group. And you know, pugs are never as good as a regular party.
So I just want to read this comment because it made me chuckle. So Riggsy said, I'm liking this new start time, Inforunners. It's good watching you guys and I'm not half asleep. Yeah, it's good being on the show and not being half asleep, Riggsy. Yeah.
I do have to admit, as much as I lamented the fact that it did make life a bit more difficult in terms of the chores and other things. Also, you know, being able to sit down at a more reasonable hour and not feel like I'm trying to wake up. Was quite nice. Right. So first time chat was the gnarly one.
Yeah, I was about to read that. You go ahead.
And he said, so long as I can move any of my ships from location to location without leaving stuff around without components mid-journey, it will be okay. Yeah,
be able to do that.
I expect one of the things that we'll have to do that is they'll have the NPCs, you know, that you'll be able to employ NPCs to transfer your gear for a cost, you know, movers or stuff like that.
The other thing that became really evident when me and Paul were talking to was social tools. So, and what I mean by that is things like a raid finder in WoW. Like trying to find crew for these big multi ships. We need a better grouping system, all those type of things sooner rather than later. Because as soon as you start bringing in these bigger ships and we get new players, like, do you know how hard it is to fully create an interest? That was the first time this org had managed to fill it. And they reckon it was a little bit because I turned up, so other people turned up. But normally they'd almost got it full, but they'd never quite got it full. I turned up, and then they had 2 full paladins, and they had and a fully created dress. So I'm not blaming that on me, but what I'm saying is it's quite hard for even an organized org to get one full currently. You get a raid finder though, every day of the week you're going to be able to find one. And so I think those tools, I'm starting to see that there's now going to be a need for them a lot sooner than later. And Paul really brought that to my attention. And
it's not only that, like it'll also then come into your rep, you know, the reputation of individual players and stuff, you know. Do you get a bad rep just because you're an ass when you're dealing with people? People won't join you. So yeah, that whole aspect is huge. It certainly, hopefully, is a massive community builder, and I could see that's what Chris has been wanting since, you know, Wing Commander.
Algared, I want to tangent because someone's annoying me in chat. If we can, he needs to be schooled. Right. Let's go over to Fleet Viewer. So the question was, and you can tick this one off, Algared, it's down here somewhere. Rondog on Twitch asked, Paladin or Starlance attack? And it was the replies that got to me. Right, so we did I bring everyone across? Yes,
I've already moved it.
Yep, cool, sweet. Let's bring in the what happened to the Paladin Shadowfall? They removed it. Oh, they just didn't put it in when they updated it. Oh, that's annoying. Right, and then we had the attack. Right? Right. Now, Algared, as a more lay person, where does your brain go on I'm shooting at you?
From which ship?
It doesn't matter. If I'm shooting at you and you're in one of these 2 ships, which one would you rather be in?
Mm,
I'm shooting at you.
initially, I'd probably say the big one because they're safer, but I know the bridge is right on that nose, and
you're a bigger target. You are twice the fucking size. You're going to take twice as many hits. It's that simple. This thing
I should also be harder to kill because I'm twice as big.
No,
but
it doesn't. The other thing is, this is about the same price as this.
Yep, and you're also looking at then the firepower of the ships I'll
double check. My memory might be a bit off, but we'll check. We'll check. You know, all right. So the pledge was $375. All right. So technically it's $25 more expensive. It is $25 more expensive. All right, I was wrong. But
then you also look at the fact that one of the things that would make me go against attack is the fact that, well, in terms of a Star-Lancer, we don't think that was the main build. The main build was the build.
Mm.
And the other versions of a Star-Lancer were kind of offshoots of that. So I'd rather have a proper gunship rather than something that was kind of shoehorned.
They are very similar in components. 2 size 2 power plants. No, it's only got 1 size 2. I don't even have. It's only got 1 size 2. There's literally the 2 or oh wait, I got the other way around. This is the wrong way around. This is there's 2 in this. These are not right. I'll have to assume these ones are not right either.
And I'd have to look. I'd be interested to know, what the shields are, because
well, they're
the number of shields.
This has a size. This has a size 3. The attack, I'm not too sure on. This
2 size 3.
This is definitely wrong.
Yeah, so they're saying 2 size 3 for the generator. Versus 1 size 3.
1 size 3. But it is also half the size. But yeah, like again, but you look at the guns alone, it's essentially got 2 size 4 turrets, which is what the Redeemer has on its 2 turrets. Then it also has a single quad size 5, which is just bananas.
And they're all forward firing, whereas the TAC is
sideways firing.
Got guns, but they're all
yeah.
So, and that's the other thing that I'd be looking at. Where can I put? Can I get firepower? Where can I concentrate the most firepower? Which ship can do that?
The TAC is essentially a bombardier. It is essentially for shooting shit on the ground. That's essentially what that ship is for. This is for actually fighting. There is a place for the TAC, but the main reason for that med bay is you're bringing troops back. You're deploying troops onto the ground, and you're bringing them. It's a long-range marine deployment ship. You are covering them
with a small fighter that can also do, support for them as well.
The fuck was that? Like fell and landed on my hand. What was that?
Some bug.
That was quite heavy.
As long as it's not a funnel web, you're right.
Oh, it's the thing off my. It's my thing off my microphone. Hang on.
But Ocean 9111 says, or 911 says, Grim always says, don't look at the stats. Specs, and look at the role, and we've often said that as well. Like look at the role of what the ship is, and that's kind of what you're saying there. What is the role of a paladin versus a TAC?
Yep. You get it. If SA was around, he would tell you how bad the TAC is, right? Because it's just such a big craft, it's so easy to hit.
Well, I remember we walked around it. It feels like there's so much
wasted space
in it. And as we were doing it, it really felt like the TAC was an afterthought, where the big one was, the biggest ship was, or the ship that originally came out was the build, whereas the Paladin is a ship that's basically a combat ship, and that's the difference. It's your multi-crew Hurricane, if that makes sense, or a bigger version of a Hurricane. So
again, they are slightly different crafts. In my opinion, and there's SA in chat. He says it sucks as a military craft, and I have to agree with him. My first thought was it kind of sucked, and then when I talked to SA, he just drilled that home to me. And it again, like it's just that they are slightly different roles. This is an attack craft. This is a more of a I guess it's kind of a dropship is how I'd put it, but it's really weird. I think there's better dropships that you could put it this way. You could literally do a very similar job with a Redeemer. You just don't have the probably can't deploy as many troops, and you obviously lose the medical facilities. But what you gain is a much faster ship and a quicker ability to insert and get out. This is lumbering. This is going to lumber in and lumber out.
If I was, depending on what I was trying to do, if I was trying to attack, I'd want a paladin. If I was trying to run away, I'd want more hit points.
Yep. But also, we'll put it this way, Algared, if you're trying to insert, if you're trying to insert Marines, do you want something quick and fast and that's got regenerative shields? Or do you want something with a bigger signature and is physically larger, but you can heal the people?
I want something small and quick. That's exactly what I'd use. I'd probably use a prowler or a.
So this is trying to do so this is probably more like the Redeemer than the Paladin, in my personal opinion. But I still think the Redeemer is better than this, and that's just my personal opinion. If you like the TAC, you go ahead and like the TAC. I've got to look at these things.
Look,
right across the board.
The TAC is one of the few ships I don't have.
Yeah, I can. So Ackland's saying it's a little bit like an AC 130. Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely can see that. But by the same token, there are other ships up there can now shoot it. So yeah, I think it's going to have its place given time. It just seems super niche for me. Like it's essentially a long range insertion vehicle, which is what the Redeemer can do, but also the Redeemer can swap the module out. And it's due to its size. If it was the same size as the Paladin, I don't think we'd even be having this discussion.
Well, the difference is as well, the Prowler, and if you put a Prowler, not a Prowler, the Redeemer up, in that pile as well,
it's basically the same size as the Paladin. They're very similar.
And the Redeemer, and therefore the Paladin, because it's basically the same size. Are the size big enough to go in a javelin? You ain't going to get attack inside a javelin. So the Redeemer can be basically a carrier-borne ship. So you don't even have to be in that ship to move it. You can be in a larger ship and be taken there and then.
Though I don't think we can confirm that the Paladin fits in a javelin, but God, I hope it does.
Okay, a couple of meters.
It'd be the width. It'd be the width.
And that. But I'm guessing at this point.
Let's say
possibly just make it. But...
Well, the other way you could look at it, right, would be a Valkyrie, because a Valkyrie does a lot more troops, right, and a Valkyrie is actually smaller in meterage. So again, if you could put a Valkyrie inside a javelin, that would be really cool too. The reason why we're going back to the Redeemer is when the Javelin came out, they talked about the Redeemer being able to go in it, and then later on, they actually had pictures of the Vanguard inside it, right? So again, that's a smaller ship, but they've said literally the Redeemer can go inside. So if the Redeemer can go in, hopefully we can possibly put some other options in there as well. So what I would hope, right, but again, they haven't confirmed this or whatever, is I would hope that they essentially turn that into a medium metric pad over time. But the ships like the Pisces and stuff like that should have been a tiny pad. It shouldn't have been custom built for the Pisces. They should have been doing bespoke stuff since the beginning, but it's something that they just never grabbed. It took them time to grab onto.
It took them time to really sort that out. And I suppose for the Carrack, like part of the reason was they were also trying to limit it from being for godship, because it could do so much. It was already leaning into that godship. So if every small, tiny ship could fit into that with no issue, it just had that sense of being, this is just too versatile a ship. As they saying, also said, look, the TAC is a great ship. Not wanting to put too many words into his mouth. Let's see if I can find his quote again. It is a great ship for 13 friends that want to do planetary assault missions. It has a role. It's just not ideal for some other roles.
It's probably better than taking 3 Redeemers, make up the same number of people as an example. But again, would be a really great combo, and I think SA would probably agree on me, is if you had to take that many people, maybe take a Redeemer and attack, and leave the tack back, because you'd have the medical facilities, and just do the last leg with the Redeemer, because the Redeemer can get in and out really quickly. Again, there's a place for everything. And then if the Redeemer fails, then maybe the tack can go in as a second backup or whatever. So yeah.
Socially confused. Other question.
Hang on, real quick. First time chatter, Demented Jeeper says, "I'm sure it would fit on a Kraken." Yes, it will fit on a Kraken.
Would definitely fit on a Kraken.
Yep.
So Socially Confused says, "What size ship do you think a single person can handle solo?"
I think it's going to start to go into literally what they've been saying all this time. Single seat fighters, starter ships, or it's going to start to move towards that. Even in the Apollo that was meant for 2 people, every time I had to use the engineering call, and there was a bit of learning, right? So I would say half of this was probably learning, but I had to get up and sit down from the engineering console to the pilot seat like 5 or 6 times, right? To double check things and go backwards and forwards between. And it started to get really annoying. That animation was pissing me off.
And I could see, you can do that when you're doing salvage and reclaimer at the moment. You can do it solo at the moment, right? Yep. But it does get annoying going backwards and forwards to seat. So yeah, you could do a 2-person ship or a 3-person ship probably solo. But as you said, just constantly having to move just to check or.
But it's the same thing in the starters, mate. So in the Intrepid's exactly the same. You have to get out of the seat. You have to walk to the engineering. It's exactly the same.
But the difference with those small starter ships is the spaces you've got to move to get to those areas where you've got to do repairs is smaller, so it's a lot quicker. So it's a little bit quicker.
I'm going to be honest, it's about the same between the Apollo and the Intrepid, because the Intrepid you've got to walk right to the back. The Apollo is just to the neck.
Yeah.
The only ones at the back are the shields and the batteries and stuff. The main components are all in that neck. So
it depends on where you've got to go, but I could see that having that impact.
Yeah.
But I think, I used to think a Connie would be the smallest, the largest ship you'd want to probably do solo, but and that may just be as far as you'd want to go, that type of size ship. And I'm just thinking even that getting to the components in a Connie is a long walk for some of them. So I'm not sure.
It's going to be interesting. I do think certain ships where the components are going to place are going to have to be given buffs in another way. It'll be really interesting to see how things shake out. But we're in for a great time. I like seeing things move and flow, and because right up until now, like, let's take weapons as an example. Lasers were essentially lasers and ballistics were ballistics. Now we're seeing all this starting to split out. It's going to be the same thing in ships. How many ships have we seen, Algared, that on paper they had almost exactly the same components? Yeah. But now all of a sudden they're 2 completely different ships. So we're going to start. Yeah. Not only are we going to see them all start to spread out, but they're all going to start to cross over too in different ways. So it's going to be way more diverse than what we've been up to this point, and that's exciting to me. Like I'll give you an example: the Harbinger or the Vanguard. How different are those 4 variants are going to be now?
Yep. Sorry for the drum beat that you may hear. That the rain pounding my roof. So
someone's eating corn outside. The rain's here. Yeah. Only the Aussies will get that one. The rain's here. Anyway.
Yep. Australian ad for corn. Yep.
Yeah, way back in the day, if you were when we were kids, there was an ad where the 2 kids are sitting in the window eating the corn.
Now one of it.
It lands on the aluminium roof, and the dad's downstairs and go, oh, and the rain's here. The drought's over.
Yeah. So Citizen Ninja raises the question about the 890 jump. Using if you don't count the servant, so solo 890 jump. But one of the things with the 890 jump is, as a capital ship, that was a ship that was actually designed and supposed to be designed to be able to function effectively with minimal crew. Not solo, but minimal crew.
Algared, can you check your mic for me? I think it's changed because your audio has dropped in quality significantly. I think it's somehow changed from whatever your main mic is to something else, because it sounds like you're further away or something's changed. It's really weird.
I'll have another look.
Yeah. Does he sound different to anyone else all of a sudden? Like he sounds like he's further away. Like he's talking on a different...
Well, the sound of the drumming on the rooftop even makes
Oh,
you
it
sound far away.
It might have filtered you because of the rain. No, it could be that too. I didn't think of it, but yeah, you did. You've changed a little
because
bit.
it is very loud.
Okay. Radio. All right. Do we want to go to the next question or?
Yeah. So socially confused. That was the one we just did. Spike 6K from Twitch says, "How does it work on small ships like the Gladius or Arrow? They play the same." I'm assuming he's talking engineering.
Yeah, I didn't get to actually test any of the fighters because again, I wanted to focus on the multi-crew stuff, and the only ship I really spent any time on was the Apollo. I just didn't have time. You got to remember, it was up for one evening, and it did have a lot of bugs. Some of the people I talked to, they spent 2 or 3 hours just trying to get into the test, and then when they get in, they had a short amount of time, and it was a bit frustrating because there was some bugs. But yeah. But I don't know. Maybe if they eventually open the test to other people, you can test it yourselves. But I don't think engineering is specifically built for fighters. I think it's more for the multi crew.
Well, even as you said, the fighters seem to have this free repair slot. The type idea. So they get one free, and then after that, I think in a fighter you'd use your repair slot, and then you'd bug. I've used my free life. I'm out of here now. Yeah, I think I think that's going to be quite common. Because to be honest, it does take like up to a minute to repair it as well. So it's not a short fix. It takes a while. So yeah. Next question is from Artemis, who says, "Do you have any plans for N7 Day?" I don't know what that is. N7 Day? Let's Google that. What the hell is N7 Day? Yep. N7 Day. Yeah, don't know.
What?
N7 Day.
N7 Day.
No, I know that yesterday was Reformation Day, and today is All Saints Day.
Held on the November the 7th on a Mass Effect franchise. It's gonna be, oh my god, N7.
No, I don't care about Mass Effect.
I think EA killed it. Wait. My face is sore, or I is numb. What the fuck is that line she says? And it's so retarded. My face is tired. That's it. My face is tired. Yeah, come on. I think it was great back in the day, but BioWare's not Bio anymore. Like, I know people that work there and they've all moved on. They've had 3 games now that have all gone shit. 3 strikes are out. It just shows me the people that used to work there are not there anymore. And when you buy a company, generally when a company is brought, you add 5-6 years to that. Everyone that was there just moves on, because they don't want to put up with the corporate bullshit. And essentially this happens a lot because they set up a company, he gets a good name, they sell it, they move on to another one because they make money by selling on and moving on. So the owners just keep making money and move on. They make one studio, call it something, move on, make another one, move on, make another one. And you'll often see that's how they make all their money, because they make the money by selling it.
Raptor Man, I think you're wrong. He says Star Citizen's dream is to have the following that Mass Effect has. No, Star Citizen's dream is to have everyone's following.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the game to rule them all.
Yeah, one ring to bind them, one ring to find them in the darkness.
Yes.
Right.
So does that make CIG? Does that make Chris Roberts Sauron? Ooh, dun, dun, dun. Sorry, Sandy.
He's definitely not.
I apologize for saying that Chris was the evil overlord. Please forgive me.
Definitely not the Gladriel in the new one. He's definitely not that.
No.
Yeah. First time chatter, Hellraiser. I think it's meant to be like Hellraiser, but make holding engineering more important if they can use that to override, unlock your doors, and turn off the air. I think that'll probably be more about hacking. That was one thing that wasn't working in the test, was the door overrides. Because once the power went out, because the door overrides didn't work, you couldn't open the doors to get the power to fix it. And that's why I burned to a crisp in where I was. But
that's where they need to get the panel where you've got hand crank,
Well, again, we've seen animations in Squadron where people will just pull the doors open, so I think that's probably what they're going to use. I just assume once you turn the power off, that there's a way to the override just does the unlock. It works on a battery that's in the door or something, so it just unlocks the door and then you can physically pull it open. I think that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But again, that wasn't in yet. But again, it's just another system that has to be in, or people are going to bitch. And I can see why it's taking so long, because they've seen they've seen reactions to other things, and my first instinct was like, wow, people are going to bitch about this. That was my first thing. When I said people are not ready, I'm just like, I can just totally see the complaints, and I think that's why they're taking their time. They just don't want that backlash.
It's one of those things. I think it's one of the foundational gameplays. You know, so they want to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
And when you think of the number of multi-crew ships and the way that is the thing they want to focus on, you want that engineering aspect to be top-notch, or at least not too buggy. So.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Arcane Danger?
New question.
Yep. After seeing the beginning of engineering, how do you feel about this prepares us for the next level of engineering, in your opinion?
We ain't ready.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm kind of repeating myself there a little bit. I think most people that follow the project pretty well will see the vision, but I think it's when it hits the live servers and the wider audience comes in. Like think about all the blowbacks we've really had. It's when it hits the normies. And if you say that as an insulting, if you're here, you're not a normie. I'll just tell you that right now. But all the big blowbacks that we've ever had is when it hits a live server and they are expecting like this polished game. And this is such a big system coming in. I think there's a reason why it got delayed by essentially 12 months. There's a reason why it got delayed from August just in the testing phase until now. It definitely is not ready for prime time. But the promise, when it's working, you just go, oh, I get what they're trying to do now. Holy shit, this is like so dynamic. And the way I'd explain it is, you remember back in the day when you got your wings shot off and the whole ship would turn to one side? It's like that, but like 3 levels up. You know, you hit a component and it affects the ship.
Like the type of games where you see the type of thing they're looking for. Now, Blackwake, where you need the crew to repair the ship and fly the ship. Hellion, where where it's survival and you've got to gather your components and repair and maintain your ship or your base. What other games can I think of?
But like you said, Algared, they're taking in all the games ideas.
You know, Lost Colony Pulsar or whatever they call it, is those types of games where you're doing a crew and you've got to repair and maintain, and that's the type of thing that engineering is doing, and it is going to change the game as we know it. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
It's probably one of the biggest changes we've seen in a really, really, really long time, if not the biggest. I'm going to be honest, like specifically to ships, it's a huge change. And again, I think some people are going to complain because they've been used to this. They're more complicated than almost any other game, but this is way simpler. This is like you get in, you essentially turn it on, and you go. It's not that simple anymore. There's things you got to manage and you got to run. It's more like a real car now, like where, you know, you get people in the real world, Algared, that know their car, they fine tune, or their computer for that matter. They fine tune their computer or their car, and they can run it really well. You get someone else that jumps on and it's either full of spyware, or they've essentially driven their car into the ground because they just don't care and don't know how to maintain it.
Sea of Thieves is another one that someone raises, does the same type of thing. But it's all of those types of games that do that.
100% agree. You
know, so, and that's the type of gameplay we're going for, and it's the type of gameplay that CIG have always been aiming for. Like, don't assume that that's not what we've been going for. That's what that's what they've always said. To my knowledge, everything has always been pushed to that level. So, Vegas.
I just want to one really important thing I want to stress. Reminol McDosh had. Oh God, I cannot pronounce that name. It's so damn long. Guy with ridiculous. Oh, it's Donnie, is it? Oh, Donnie. It is Donnie, is it? Right. All right, Donnie.
Yeah.
You could still eventually have NPCs, right? So it doesn't kill it off. It just stops it for the time being until the NPCs come in. But even then, there'll be a great cost to running those NPCs. So it's not like you get it for free. And let's be honest, you're going to have a better time with real people than you are going to have with NPCs.
Yeah, I think NPCs are just your stopgap. But I can see, like I said before, I can see NPCs still being needed on an Idris. So if you've got 25 people, fully crewed Idris, you're still going to want those NPCs on Idris.
Yeah,
just as backup, just as red shirts.
I think most NPCs will be really good at turret gunning. Like that'll be the. I wouldn't exactly trust them to repair my ship. You can do it, right? But I'd rather have a human on that than and leave a NPC in the turret.
If I had NPCs doing engineering, I'd want a human directing those NPCs to repair what they're repairing and doing stuff. So
like a do as I do type of thing. So you start repairing it, so he just copies you.
Yeah. Or you're directing you repair that system, and
See, Raptor Man says, I'd rather have NPCs. Well, that's the thing. It's going to be about player choice. At the end of the day, you're going to be able to play the space game your way.
And that's what Chris has always said. He wants you to be able to play the way you want.
Yeah.
From a year dot, it's been that idea.
People can talk about solo capitals all they want, right? Right. If for the meantime, it is going to stop the solo Idrises. But eventually, when the NPCs are back in, you can do that. But again, I think most people would agree, if you have a fully crewed human Idris versus one guy and a full crew of NPCs, I'd expect the humans to win.
I would expect the humans to win.
Again, maybe that's I can see a YouTube video out there in the future. What's better, NPCs or humans? The ultimate showdown. I can see that video. It'd be interesting.
And I could see a fully crewed Idris NPC, ship, being great in PvE, and being great versus Vandal or something like that. But I could also see a human fully crewed ship, being able to do the job better or quicker, or just because of that interaction of players. But I think you'd also find that NPC ships, an NPC crew would be better than possibly a pug crew.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just how well randoms work together compared to friends. Yeah. And I'd expect friends to beat random people, but I've seen some pugs come together, and it doesn't happen every day, but sometimes they just rally and they get it done. So you gotta want it. You gotta hunger for it. I don't know. I've been playing Battlefield 6 a fair bit lately, and I've been able to get some really cool groups going. And then there's that one guy you just run into, and I'm talking on the mic. Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's get in there. Let's get the point. Drop the med bag. Get that all going. And then there's that one guy that just goes, "Hey, dickhead, shut up!" And that happened. Yeah. One time, and it wasn't me that spoke up, it was the other two guys. No, you just shut up and do what you told. It was so good because we had the teamwork going between the three of us, and then he joined the group and tried to get it. Yeah, it was so good because it was working, and they just didn't want it fucked with. It was working. I was just calling some light shots, and we were just, all right, let's go D, let's go E, and just not being controlling, just and if one of them said, "Oh, I think we should go D," I'd go, "All right, let's go D instead." It was just giving everyone a direction to work together in. It wasn't dictating or anything. It was just,
Sandgroper. That is probably the most important thing that you'll find with NPC crew. They won't spam comms.
Yes. I imagine if they put voices in.
Although
I need a direction.
They do have wild lines.
Order. I need orders or something like that is what you hear all the time.
I need orders, or oh no, they're shooting at me. The coward. Oh no, they're shooting at me. Because we do know they've walked a whole pile of wild lines, and and you're walking through a station, and they'll say, "Hello, how are you going?" So, and I find that a bit annoying at the moment. So maybe Sandgroper. They will spam comms.
Look, you have not played Battlefield until you've had an angry Aussie yell at you. There's just something about, "Oi, mate, shut up, bro. like the full Bogan experience. Like it's just like, and I guess Americans would relate to like a redneck or something like that, and they're just like the most Bogan guy, just like, oh my god, and just like mute. But yeah, it's just weird when you're playing. It really zaps you, like you're in Afghanistan or wherever you are, and then this Aussie goes, "Oh, shut up, bro!" Like, and just it's funny as. So yeah, very jarring. But yeah, been enjoying it though. But it's been good, and I wasn't going to buy Battlefield 6, but I actually picked it up because they said they were selling EA. I went, well, this is probably going to be the last good Battlefield, so I better pick it up, and I'm kind of glad I did because I've been enjoying it. I also picked up Arc Raiders because a friend of mine, the Spud Hunter, is an Aussie streamer that plays it a lot, and you know, I wanted to play a few games with him, so that, and I got some other mates that got it as well, so I picked that up as well. So that's probably the only 2 game purchases I've kind of got this year. So yeah. All right, next one.
Yep. Yeah, I can remember doing old accounts and 2 PCs back in the day of Dayoc. That was quite a challenge.
You'd be able to play Battlefield now with your new fancy GPU, wouldn't you?
Possibly.
You'd be able to do it easy.
It depends whether I like Battlefield. That's another thing.
Ooh.
All right, so Algared 2205 says, do we still fall down from the ship moving around?
Yes.
My reason for asking is a lot of engineering panels do not have seats.
I honestly think they need some kind of fold-out seat or something akin to that. It is really damn annoying.
Or we need the old magnetic boots back.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I don't think they'll give you the magnetic boots because then people just wear them all the time. But it definitely needs something to balance it out. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I don't know. There's something about, and I'm about to put the fire, whoa! You know, that kind of ruins the experience.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I could see the mag boots being, you know, needing to be powered and being powered from the suit, and then draining the suit's power, so you wouldn't be able to keep them on all the time. So, but yeah, it'd be nice to have something to stop that inertia. Stopping you do your job.
It's counter-interactive because if you're actually trying to dodge someone in combat, you are going to be doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and with a ship. So,
and
yeah,
and then you've got the problem of trying to repair the ship while you're doing that. And Inforunners handles light are on a jav.
On a jav.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I don't get that reference, but yeah. All right, next.
Handles like we're on a jav. Yeah, you'll have to come in here and explain what you mean, because we don't understand what you're saying at the moment.
Well, give it to us give it to us in context. Right, Artemis TGM says, would you say AI remote turret blades are a must-add feature now if you had crew running around engineering? It would be a cool stopgap. You know, like if Algared essentially, like I'm piloting and I go, Algared, shit, we're under attack, and he could just turn on the AI blade and then go repair.
Yeah,
would be a cool thing to kind of add. But again, it's just in that priority order. We know they've already got them in for javelins and that, so I can't imagine that's one that's too difficult to kind of bring across and implement. I think that would be probably one of the first ones we may get. They did talk about AI blades coming with the Perseus, so I have to assume it's coming.
There's something along that line for the Perseus. What aspect it is, but yeah.
All right, you want to go next one,
Caltent 7870 says, while I regularly run with Corp mates, being a shift worker, I sometimes just hop in and at odd hours and just have a little bit of solo fun, missions, etc. Is that solo part going to be practical?
It really depends on the ship you're in.
Yeah.
You know, it also depends on how much money you've got, because if you've got a 3-person ship and you put 2 AI crew in it, then you'll be fine, as long as you've got the money to pay for them.
And I'm often in the same boat, you know, like I'm fairly time poor at the moment, and so I'll get an hour or two to play, and even if I've got that time, I might be pulled away 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I was doing some of the basic missions for the recon missions, and a couple of times I got called away just because life, and I come back, I'm dead.
Well, it also means that if they put
it was things where you couldn't just move away, so.
If they put the friend finder in or the raid finder type of thing, you can be able to jump in and find a couple of people fairly quickly and go do a couple of missions. So you don't always have to be solo. It's if you are choosing to be solo, then you are limiting your own gameplay. You're either going to be in one of those more single-seater starter ships, or if you want to go to a bigger one, then you're going to have to use AI. And obviously you're going to be on a little bit of weight for the AI because that's going to come in pieces. Clearly.
Now, Aceman 747 says, how do I get the will to wear a tie on a Saturday? Well, it just proves, Aceman, that it's not my work get up as Execute often just says.
It's his work get up. It's his work get up. He does it 5 days a week, doing it for an extra hour, 3 hours is not going to kill him.
It is the similar type of garb I would wear to work.
And I'd rather he wears that than what he normally wears, right? If you go back to some of the very early Inforunners videos, he's got like Hawaiian shirts on that look like they're covered in vomit. Hell to the no.
that Hawaiian shirt was the Stations of Stanton shirt.
Hell to the no, I believe it goes. But anyway.
So, hell and or the batik shirts. So yeah. It's become the old man Hurston outfit. So when I'm doing when I'm here, I'll do that. When I'm gaming, you'll notice I very rarely, if I'm actually gaming and streaming, I don't think I've ever been on camera when I'm gaming, and that's because I don't want to wear the clobber.
Against the drool.
So
okay.
and I get told that when I'm concentrating, I kind of get that
lovely look.
That funny look. So
all right. Sam Wood says, do you think that we'll see the Perseus release with its main guns? I don't think will be coming just yet. No, I think it's definitely coming. The reason I think this is they literally said back during the start of the year, it'll be the year beam citizen. There'll be a year of beam weapons. We've got one beam weapon all year. They've been working on a lot of balancing stuff across the words of components. They've been redoing the guns. Like we've seen the Class and Warner laser repeaters redone. We've seen the bearing number A guns redone. I have to assume that there's all this other stuff coming. They mentioned the Wolf later on in the year, getting additional bespoke weapons. So clearly there is some kind of weapon thing coming down the pipe that I think we're going to get. And I think that those new weapons will probably come along a line with that Perseus patch. I think we're going to see new guns come in, new ammo types. Now, I think at the very least, if they delay that by a patch and they release the Perseus, maybe we just get the Perseus and it comes with one ammo type. But whenever that patch comes, that gives all, I think that's probably going to be in the newer build. I don't know if you think the same, Algared, but that's where my brain would go. At worst case scenario, you get it with its guns, but they don't change weapons. And then when the patch after that comes, like the 4.4 patch, that then they'll have all the weapon stuff in that because that's the new engine build, isn't it?
Yeah, I expect we'll see when the Perseus comes, it'll certainly have its main guns.
Yeah.
The question is, will it have the changeable ammo?
Yep.
At that point, they've always said it's got changeable ammo.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come with it initially, it'll come at a later point, and I just take, unless CIG come out and say no, we're not doing it, and I haven't heard them say that. I have to just take on at their word and say, yeah, it's going to come. It's just not yet. So, yeah.
I think wait, hang on. I got to ask something. Go ahead, Algared.
First time chat. OC Lockie says it's all right. Game's completely naked, which is debatably
I deliberately didn't read that one, but anyway.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. So that first time chat, we usually do it, even if it's vaguely inappropriate.
Yeah.
but I don't understand
I
it.
think that's my actual brother because
Okay.
he used my real name.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my real brother. I think, yeah, of course it is. Oh, okay, it's my real brother. Right, yeah.
Right, yeah.
It makes so much more sense now all of a sudden. Right. Good to see you, bro. Hope
Oh,
you're doing well.
I didn't even pick up that he was.
Yeah,
used
no,
your
well,
name
my real, well, he said Julian. But people know my name, right? But because I used to go by Julian Execute on Star Signal, but I haven't for a very long time. I hope you're doing well, bro. Say hi to Ollie for me. Give him a big kiss and hug for me. But yeah, hope he's doing well. Or maybe you can even see me. How you doing, Ollie? Hope you're doing well. Yeah. All right. Next question, Algared.
Yep. So the next question.
That's my
is
nephew, by the way. Just so you know. Yeah.
Yep. Parker XGPS says, wasn't it supposed to be a year of beams? Yes.
Exactly.
Haven't we? Yeah. And haven't we got just like one? Yeah, exactly like we just said.
It's like you read our mind, but 3 hours ago or whenever you asked that question. But yeah, long story short, we haven't got any beam weapons. It was heavily hinted that there may be an Ares beam variant coming, but again, it might not be a whole new ship. It's literally just a weapon swap. Imagine if you could take the Ares and put the iron weapon on it, or you could put a beam weapon on it, or whatever. Look at the player choice that gives you there.
Look.
So yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at the Wolf.
Yeah.
And it just seems, the fact that you've got the Hurston Dynamics beam weapons, that would be an ideal weapon to go on there, or the not the Hoover, but yeah, the other weapons that could go on there. It is the Hurston Dynamics beam weapon. So yeah, so it'd be nice to see those.
I think I found the first negative of doing this is my family are awake now. Yeah. All right, I gotta go back to 5 a.m. Right.
Yes. On the bright side, hey, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Or
wait, I'll do this for you. There you
go. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube and on Twitch. Do what people do on Twitch, like, subscribe, or whatever. Yeah. Make us feel warm and loved and all that other stuff. All right. Sandgroper.
Yep.
Do you think this will be... No, go away. Do you think this will be the last chance to our last IA before the Crucible starts to increase in price?
It's always hard to tell. I think you'd start to see repair coming in. It would be really obvious. And usually when there's going to be a price increase now, they tell us. Because we complained when they did in the past without telling us, so now they tend to tell us. Like the most recent example I can kind of think of was probably the Hull C, when they said this will be the last chance to buy it at this price before it goes up. Yeah,
and that was scary because we expected 10, 15%. That was a massive jump.
Yeah.
But I expect I expect every sale. Yeah. Every sale, those ships that are still at their base right, the Crucible and Endeavour, I half expect them to go up.
I think there's no excuse anymore either. When you look at it in most cases like a 10 or a reasonably cheap CCU, there's just no excuse. Like everyone can afford to put $10. Well, okay, not everyone, but like
hopefully
most people in this game can put $10 aside.
But certainly if you plan, skip a coffee for 2 weeks and you've got your $10.
Skip a coffee for 2 weeks.
Yeah, a single coffee. Instead of buying, not skip coffee for 2 weeks. Just skip a coffee.
If Algared could skip coffee for 2 weeks, he'd be a billionaire. No?
I'd be twitching.
He'd be having seizures and shit. But yeah, withdrawals. Can we remember that coffee? Yeah, but he but yeah.
Not skip stuff, not skip coffee for 2 whole weeks. Just skip a single coffee per week for 2 weeks.
He just goes sip and goes, "Are you fucking insane?" I love that. Yeah, that's so good. That was my impression too, Zippo. I was just like, what the hell? Oh, gifted sub. Thank you for the gifted sub, Aceman747, who gifted it to Sergeant Perry. Make sure you give a thank you to Aceman. Right.
Thank you for that. Yeah, 2 weeks I nearly died, Robert JT says. And no, Robert, even though you went away for 10 minutes, no, we still haven't got to your question. You've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Or you had plenty of time. Just to let you know, I did see your message, by the way.
Yeah.
Demon, yes, 1989. 1989, very good year.
Yeah.
Have you gents heard any more info on medium large salvage vessel? It was rumoured. We know there's a yellow one coming. Or an orange one coming. That's about it. Orange.
Yeah, it's only what they said on the ISC that week in September. We haven't heard anything since. But I think, what are we, 20 days now, Algared? 21 days away from AIE. They were very good at keeping those ships hidden for CitizenCon. I'm hoping they're very good at doing it for IAE. But either way, we've got very little time left to wait.
Yeah, and we kind of expect that it's not Argo that, like we all expect, because it was just an orange ship, and we think it's probably something like Crusader.
Yep.
That's our guess, but that's us taking the rope, making a nice little knot, and putting on the necktie.
Yeah.
Do with that what you want.
Yeah, we're also looking at Nix coming out to essentially at AIE too, so it's going to be, we were hoping it was going into P2U this week because they said the tech preview on P2U, but now it's essentially Saturday, Friday, so Friday in the UK, and now it would be after midnight in the UK. I would have to assume that it's not coming this week, unless I can't think of the last time they did a patch on a Sunday in Australia. Can you think of one? I think there's probably been one, maybe a hot fix or something like that, but I've never seen a full-fledged patch, so I think it's definitely next week now.
Yeah, unless they did it tonight.
Yeah.
Like before it goes into the Saturday for them. But it's. But yeah, Dillman 94.
Yep.
Do you think we'll get LFG features alongside engineering?
What was the feature, sorry? The
LFG.
Looking for group? No, I hope so, though. Looking for group.
Yeah.
Is what he means.
Remember, ships like the Paladin will probably require a dedicated engineer during combat.
Yeah. Just remember to be in full context when you do questions, guys, so we don't have to think more than we already have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we are not just paying attention to our question stream, but we do try these days to pay attention to the chat in both YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah.
And to each other, we're we're juggling several things, several plates.
Juggling plates, yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. All right, okay. I'm just noticing.
Citizen Ninja.
Yeah. I just want to show these, Algared, because I think this is interesting.
Okay.
So, from the engineering tech preview, they found a new armor. I just want to show this real quick, because it really looks like the CitizenCon stuff. And I'd say it's another set of so I'll try to show it from front to back. All right, take everyone over. So that reminds me a lot of the one from CitizenCon, but then this is a Vandal bit here. I did bring everyone over. Yeah, sweet. And then this is the back of that one. So see how it's kind of like got human elements and Vandal elements? I think this might be pointing to the new faction being kind of like I said, they're like in league with the Vandal. I think this is that Shattered Blade people.
I'm not sure that the Shattered Blade are necessarily in league with the Vandal. I would see that as being a group that has salvaged.
They're definitely fighting them, is my point, right? And then so here's one that's more. It's almost very similar to the arm. See how the arm is exactly the same.
And if you go back to that first picture there, or the first one you had.
You mean
the other one? Yeah, that one. That arm piece looks damaged as well.
Well, yeah, but notice how it's exactly the same arm. It's exactly the same arm. Well, okay, it's not. It's similar, but from behind they are also they're different. But they're different. They're similar enough though. So yeah, and again, no, look what's on the helmet. That's Xenothreat. Is that not Xenothreat? I'm pretty sure that's Xenothreat.
Vaguely looks like it, but I can't remember, so I'm not gonna.
So did Xenothreat get pushed into Nix? And they're going directly after the Vandal? I don't know.
So Xenothreat become our new best friends because they're fighting Vandal? Maybe. Do Xenothreat become the option? Do Xenothreat become the option that the Levski folk cling to because they're against the UEE, or do they end up the Xenothreat because they are kind of Metherites?
Yeah.
At least that's why I feel they are.
Interesting.
Does that actually push, if a Xenothread are there, does that push from into the UEE or does it push from another way? So,
Yeah. Interested to find out at the very least. I do like the whole kind of hybrid human handle look, though. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of that. It looks like salvaged armor, damage risk there where it's been bashed. It just gives it a nice feel. That's what I do like about that.
Yeah.
So Citizen Ninja says, when do we think the Crucible will get a price update?
It'd be when, again, like we said before, and when we replied to this earlier, it'd be when repair starts to come in. That would be a sign that they're going to start to work on things like the Crucible and other repair ships. I think the Crucible's probably further down the line than that, but it's definitely a reconcept. I think you would agree with me on that one.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think it's probably likely, and I think even if they bring out another repair ship, I would expect the Crucible to go up.
I'd kind of expect them to do a reconcept akin to the 600i, and then it would also come with a price increase. Kind of like what happened with the Banner Man when they reconcepted at that time, and then it started to go up.
But since they're kind of going away with those concepts that we see, if you brought out a new smaller ship, but that you want to put at the price point, and the Crucible's a bigger ship, you'd have to push up the Crucible just to.
They could also work on
room for it.
They could also work on some other Anvil ships along at the same time. So Bowler in chat said the Liberator could come first. I'm actually thinking they could probably do them at the same time.
Or the other thing they could do is just make the Crucible not available at all, ever. Just until it's ready. So you can't buy it during IAU or stuff like that. So
that's never been done before.
Never happened.
But never say never. But very unlikely.
I again just throwing stuff out and seeing what sticks, but
and it's sliding down the wall.
Yep.
The shit is sliding down the wall. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think it'd be more likely if the price increase than not be available. But at 350 at its base price, and Rigsby saying, "Hey, I got mine at 185." Yeah, and you can do that, but that's good.
Bargain.
But at original price of 350, it's a ship. But I think if you're in an org and you're looking for a ship and your org's got big ships, that's a ship to get. If you've got big ships and you're looking for another ship, that's a ship to get. It's just a ship that will be very, very valuable.
I think I can answer that one right now, Donnie, because that's going to be a really quick one to answer. He's just asked us. He says, "Will the hull be flyable at AIE?" No, it's just gone into production. So if it just goes into production, the earliest it would be around is 18 months. So that would make it not next Invictus, but the Invictus after. I do my math. 6.
So if it's just gone into production, if they've said yes, it's just gone into production.
That's the earliest it would be available.
And that's
Yeah. So, like, when we said the Ironclad could have been ready at Invictus, that was because it was directly 18 months after it had been told it had been gone into production. But it actually took a further 12 months because they paused it. So that, again, can be the earliest it's available.
It's 18 months of production time is how long a ship takes. Is generally, and sometimes they take longer because they take people off the ship.
That's it, or they move them around or whatnot.
Rigsby. With engineering, flying ships solo could remain practical for handling tasks such as transferring cargo or completing supply runs, not combat. Additionally, how much daily maintenance an MSR would require keeping it in good operational condition?
It would. There's a lot of things. How much are you using it? How often are you using it? Where are you using it? How many people are on board? How much is the engineer generally looking after it? How many, are you rotating fuses around, or are you just leaving them there till they burn out? Like, how long is a piece of string is what you just asked me to answer.
Look, I think one of the aspects that come with that is pretty much everything you said, but also how often are you repairing it? Like, even at the moment, every time I land a ship, I always fully repair it. Always go in, refuel, rearm, repair. Even if it's only 1 point repair.
Yeah.
Get into that habit.
Mm.
You know, keep fuses on board. Keep you know, if you've got ships with fuse banks, make sure all your fuse banks are full.
Is it a Drake or an Origin ship? You know, like I'd expect the Drake to probably break more frequently than Origin.
Yeah.
Origin. God, I'm not going to live that down. There's going to be memes for weeks now. Right.
If you've got a Drake ship and it's got a fuse bank, you know, make sure you've got 50 fuses in your pack just so you can keep replacing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sabar.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sabar, do you think or do you expect the Kraken to go up in price before IAE?
No, I don't think there's anything that points to that. They didn't talk about it. They said it's gone into production, but they didn't like talk about it and give us any reason to show us why it was going up in price. If they came out just before AIE and did a ship panel talking specifically about the Kraken, then maybe. But I don't think so at this stage. It's already a very expensive ship for what it is.
And keep going.
No, that was it. I was done.
Yeah, and I think like even the addition of a med bay in there, I don't think is going to change the price because that's something they've said.
I think you'd agree, Algared, there was a few things missing from that ship back in the day. Remember how they used to say didn't they say something about it can't take certain components, and then they backpedaled on that and then changed it, and it couldn't take military components or something like that back in the day. Yeah.
Well, originally I think the idea was that Drake ships would be couldn't take military or competition.
Yeah,
type components. There was that type of. They were trying to show that differentiation between ships, but I think that's kind of gone by the board.
It made sense because it was too much of a holdback. What were you going to give them in exchange for that? You're just going to make them heaps cheaper? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
there was no real reason to do that. And I think you know, you can do that with some data. You know, you can make them break things quicker or something like that instead. Anyway.
Yeah, indeed.
Right. Where are we up to? We're up to
Robert JT. We're finally at Robert's question.
Yeah, all right, go for it.
The question is worried we did miss when he went away. He says, do you think base refineries will make expanse pointless and others like it outside of it using it in a fleet?
Nope. You can't take a base to it, but you can take it an expanse to it. So think about it. If you've got Quantanium, what's going to be better? Running back like a panic madman to your base to drop off the Quantanium, or having the expanse right there that can just take it straight off you?
Yeah. But they're like we say, every ship has its place. Every ship has a niche and a role.
Yeah.
There's no ship that's perfect. Have its role.
There's no ship that's perfect. Even a ship like we've talked about the Crucible several times today. Why would I take that all the way down to the planet and pay all the money to get it down in atmosphere and spend all that extra fuel when I can just send a small ship that can repair the vehicle?
Yep. And the other thing, you know, even CIG when they were concepting the Crucible, one of the downsides of the Crucible was it's got lots and lots of egress points. So you can get to the ship you're repairing very quickly. That also means it's got lots of access points if you're trying to infiltrate the ship.
Yep.
Yin and yang.
Plus and negatives all across the board. Yep. More crew, more problems, basically. Right. Tomo86. Oh, that's Tomo from the UK. Hey, what time is it there? Man, Tomo, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing up, mate?
Well, he did do it at 12 o'clock, so you know it's easy. Yeah, he's still up, man.
Why do you have he says, this is a really weird question. Why do you have a light shaped like it could be a drill? Oh, he's talking about this. Yep. So this is a battery. I use this Ozito system. They just make things, and this was $25 and it gave me a torch. I could use the same battery off my drill.
On the torch, you went, yep, that's handy.
$25, why not? You know?
Yeah, you asked that, Tomo. Yeah, you asked that ages ago, but you're still here.
Yeah.
So the question still remains, what are you doing up?
Yeah, 4 a.m., bro. Go to bed.
We appreciate you being here at 2 a.m. in the morning in the UK. We appreciate it.
No wonder he can't speak English. He gets no sleep and he just dribbles and jabs everywhere. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Tomo's next question, but ties off that one, is why is it next to your desk?
Why is it next to my desk?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting old and blind. So if it's dark, I need to turn a torch on to see.
Yeah, and after turning off the stream lights, it does feel like you're blind.
Yep.
And so you do need a torch to get around.
Well, I've had both the lenses in my eyes redone, so I've actually got to use reading glasses like an old man now. Look.
Yep. Here.
Yep. I look
now, sonny.
Yeah, start to look like Algared. Right.
Yep. Tomo did say the reason he's up is his kid woke up.
Oh.
So that's your excuse and you're sticking to it. We like it.
We like it. Right.
Not that the kid woke up, but yeah.
Oh, wow. That's kind of harsh. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, you're an arse, Algared. Wow, that's like something I would say. Right. Flying Wombat. Sandgrover sent a question, mate, right? Question. I like the Prowler for the troop drop since it is a stealth. Wait. I like the Prowler for the stealth drop since it's a stealth. Yeah, the Prowler will be really good for stealth over attack or a Redeemer. Absolutely. Also, I think you could say, Algared, you would agree with me, the Prowler is probably going to be the best ship for dropping people onto another ship. Because you can essentially get up right close to it and use those hover things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get the feeling like in the lore of the Vandal, the Tavaran had a ship that would basically come up and land, and I have a feeling that's what the Prowler actually became. There may have been a smaller one. I'd like to think there was a smaller one because the Prowler always seems big, but they were renowned for being able to board ships without being detected.
Yeah,
you know, the first thing you'd find out that you had Tavaran on your ship is your systems were going down. They were turning systems off or sabotaging your coolers or, wonderful guys. Very friendly. I like to share the joy.
Right.
Give engineers fun.
Sam Woods says, do you think the knee gears will be working on the Caterpillar? I've been having trouble with them recently. Knee gears.
The new gears? The knee landing gear? I don't know.
He says knee.
I don't know what knee gears are.
Does he mean the lifts going down to up? No, not yet. They haven't really done any work on the Caterpillar. The Caterpillar is going to be a bit of a problem because it's essentially a small endeavor. Is what the Caterpillar is, and I think when you look at, say, something like the Ironclad almost competes with the Caterpillar in a weird way, and it's from the same manufacturer. It's almost like they made that so they could work on some stuff that they need.
Yeah,
it even has the module on the side. Like it's just kind of weird like that. But I do think the command module will be working when the Ironclad comes in, though, for the Caterpillar. So
I really hope so.
I really hope they go in and do a little bit of love on the Caterpillar. It probably does need a little bit, but there's some other issues there too, Algared. Like on the top of the Reclaimer with the docking port, the Caterpillar's got one on top as well, and they don't work anymore. They've all moved them to the sides. So,
although I've got to admit, I fell off I was using the Reclaimer. I fell off the Reclaimer because, fell through.
You were drunk? Lift. Yeah, right.
No, I fell through the lift at the edge, near the edge of it. Yeah,
that's what all
fell through.
That's what all the drunk Reclaimer flyers say. But keep going.
Someone picked me up, dropped me on top of the Reclaimer, and so I was able to go through that and get back in the ship. So it still has a value, still has a use. But yeah, going back to the discussion on the Prowler, Esso says the Prowler is currently, Esso being one of our military specialist type dudes, he says the Prowler is currently the only special ops dropship in game. He says you want to do Black Ops, you need a Prowler at the moment.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I've always thought. The Prowler is by far the best silent, sneaky dropship we've got. Everything else kind of glows.
Especially
like
if you
Christmas tree in comparison.
I know when S and I talked about the utility too, like the ability for like a Prowler and a utility, and they both go in. This one drops off the troops, and those two cargo containers it drops off, or cargo containers it drops off. It's more than two, but the 32 SCU of cargo that it drops off is supplies for them to stay in country. Or, and again, if they stay out for a really long time, the utility can go back in and drop off more supplies for them to stay in the back line.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So, you know, it makes a lot, like when it first came on, what's the point? But it makes a lot of sense in terms of how the Tavaran fought, of, you know, doing guerrilla actions and that type of stuff. So, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Sam Woods, do you want to do the next one, Aaron?
Yep, Sam Woods.
No.
Oh, sorry, that was Flying Wombat.
Yep.
What game will be more complex, EVE Online or Star Citizen? Star Citizen.
Absolutely. It's like Algared said earlier. You're essentially trying to take all the best things from every game we've ever seen and just combine it into one. And that's kind of one of the things that drew us in, wasn't it, Algared?
Just Strike. Yeah, well, Strike.
Yeah.
For years, I've been saying, you know, even when we just had Arena Commander, I was saying this is better than most AAA games we're getting at the moment.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're wrong, Shizano. Shizano said EVE. In Twitch. Oh, they're wrong.
No.
You're welcome to your opinion, but that's okay.
What you're seeing at the moment, I would say EVE is more complicated, but the final form, not a chance.
Yep.
Not a chance. I know EVE has done the on-foot stuff as well, but that's almost like in response to what Star Citizen's doing. And fundamentally, how much new tech is in EVE that you haven't seen in another game, Algared?
Yeah.
Right?
Notice I did. You gave no action.
Yeah. But then you look at Star Citizen.
How much new tech's in Star Citizen that you haven't seen in other games, and other games are now copying?
Yep. I've lost fingers. Yeah.
I've lost fingers. I don't have enough.
Yeah. Well, it'll be right now. We can talk. It doesn't matter. I'm talking final form. No matter all three options that you meant there about content or tech, it doesn't matter. Final form. No, final form. EVE doesn't come close. And yet you got to remember, EVE's been out for what, over a decade now? Keep going. I think it was like 2005 or something like that. So it's been out for almost 20 years. So if it didn't have more content, I would be surprised. Yeah. So again, 20 years.
Says, does EVE have the same have interiors on their ships?
Yeah.
When I play EVE, I am the ship.
Yeah. So give it some time, and I guarantee you, final form, they're not even going to compare.
No, you're welcome to. You're welcome to like EVE. That's okay. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like EVE. That's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. Moo 235 says, question: do you feel charge drain also slipped, or is it coming? Charge drain.
Battery type thing, the charge of ships. I'm assuming.
I didn't get a chance to check that, but I can definitely see a need for it now because of the way coolers work. Essentially, like for example, just before you went into battle, I assume you would push the batteries to the guns and drain the batteries, and then once the combat's over, turn the batteries off so they can recharge. They're essentially like a power booster, is how I'd see them. And I can definitely see why they've put them in. It makes a lot of sense. When you start to see how the system works, you can see how everything's come about. It's just logical sense, at least to me anyway.
Yep. Tagarius Khan. If you're not getting shot at, will you be able to fly around for a little bit and do some stuff like little things? I think we'll be okay, and I will run from all combat and try to pay people.
Again, if you don't really want to be in combat, just stay in a high security area. Because that's the other thing. Like, if you want to go out on your ship and don't want to go for NPCs, just never live a high security area.
And as you said, even if you're in a lower security area, if you fly away from a combat, if you're not locked down, if you're not quantum addicted or whatever, and you fly away, well, okay, you're flying away. And then once you find a safe space and you've powered down and you're hiding behind the asteroids and masking your signature and what else, you can go. You could probably do repairs. As could a big ship with multi-crew. So what? It's a bit like D&D.
Mm.
When I'm GMing D&D or a role play game, and the party wants to do X, and it's a bit outlandish, I'll just remind them. What you can do, my NPCs can do.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how quickly they decide, no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so you know what you can do solo, a multi-cruise ship can do.
Yeah.
So yeah. Bunzai 431 says, do you think this will push more players who would rather not bother with complexity towards single pilot ships? Maybe.
Do you think this will push more players who would rather not?
So engineering.
With the single pilot ships. I'm just trying to understand. Do you think this will push more players?
Do you think engineering?
Just let me read it. Do you think players who would rather not bother with the complexity towards? Yeah. Initially, yes, because there not being an NPC option. So yes, in the short term. I'm just trying to paraphrase it and summarize it, but yes, in the short term, yes.
Yeah, so I think it depends on what the person wants at that time. There'll be times
Might as well.
when I'm playing where I won't want to worry about the complexity of engineering, and I'll take a smaller ship. There are times I don't care, and so I'll take the bigger ship, and I'll take the time, and I'll do the engineering stuff, even if I'm solo. Or I'll pull on a friend or an NPC when they're there and do it that way. So it's multiple options to that answer, and I think for every individual it'll be different.
Yeah. It really comes down to the individual, but I do think in the short term, because of lack of AI options, it will, if you are really annoyed by engineering, will simplify it. But I don't think people are going to hate it. I think it's just a thing people are going to have to get used to. And I already see it already, because I remember last year, we were in the test at the end of last year, I was talking to an Australian org, and I was the org leader, and I was talking to him, and he was literally talking about how his top combat guy, like the head of their combat type of division, had been doing the test stuff, and he's like, he comes to him and says, I think I like engineering. And so he's talking about switching completely from being a combat guy to being an engineering guy. And I think that's just a pinnacle of what I'm trying to, my point here is, we don't have all the gameplay yet. How do you indefinitely know what you're going to prefer? You can only assume what you like for now, right? But well, Algared, if we went back in time, you probably would have said you preferred mining over salvage. But right now, you prefer salvage.
Right now, I prefer salvage.
Yeah.
I used to think because I think it was Hayes was more into the salvage stuff, and I like the idea of the mining stuff. The mining stuff just caught my attention. I love the idea of it. And for me, it was just it just didn't have appeal. But salvage just has just lots of different moving parts, lots of different things you do, and I can do it as a brain dead activity. I don't have, so
yeah,
it was just more relaxing for me rather than mining. Now, John, on the other hand, he'd probably find the opposite. For him, mining is that relaxing activity that he enjoys. So, so yeah.
All right. Next question, if you want, Algared. By Raygun.
Now I'm just having a look at that comment. I'm not sure how to do that. I'll come back and I'll have another read of your comment in a minute, Flying Wombat. Unless that's a question. Nope, it's not a question, so I'll have a look at that comment in a minute.
Raygun? Is that you want to read
Raygun.
it?
I can't read it because I've got something's clicked over my...
It says Raygun.
You'll have to do that, Resin. I can't read it.
Yep. Any update or confirmation that the starter packs will be slots for your own NPCs? Generally, that one of the things that we heard from John and Ben when we were at CitizenCon last year, they literally said if it doesn't change or update, it hasn't changed. So the last update we got was exactly that they will be NPC slots, so nothing has changed.
Yeah, indeed.
Bourbon Gaming says, is there any is there component damage over time now, or only direct damage to components as a first step? I think that would become as different ammo types. So I'm assuming eventually we'll get some kind of ammo that does like, I'd have to make something up here. Something like, say, a nuclear bullet or something like that, or radiation damage, because radiation's in game. We do have radiation in the game, actually, don't we? So imagine it goes in, and that radiation damage, the bullet sits in your ship until you get it out of there. Yeah, generating damage.
Well, and if you sense, if you're looking at damage over time, the beam weapon.
Yep, but fire would be a bit like that too, wouldn't it?
Yep.
You start a fire, it's
damage over time.
Yep. So again, I think it's what you're essentially asking us is what it's going to be like when we get the additional ammo types in. And they've talked about, I don't know, 6 or 7 different ammo types in the past, but we again don't know the full extent. We're going to be learning with you guys as they come in as well. That they haven't. There's a lot of things that they've got really vague on as years have gone on, like medical, for example, Algared. They didn't fully do a deep dive into that in the last Q&A, did they? They kind of updated us, but then left all this shit out. So it's the same thing. They seem to be trickling shit out now. They're not like they used to be, where they talked about everything. They found that it's better to play things close to the chest, so people don't lock them into things. They can have the freedom to change what they want to do.
Yeah, so Flying Wombat had said that what I was explaining with mining and salvage was how if players play, they want a brain dead activity, they would go mining. That's a good example. Even though I find, like, even though I did say salvage with brain dead, it's not. It just means it's different aspects. I just found it more relaxing. I think I can do.
I think there's less stress when it comes to salvage. You're kind of like sitting there and kind of zenning out, and you're doing the kind of.
But then you've also
almost like using Power Wash Simulator if you've played that. You're decoloring stuff. But when you do the laser, there's a tension where you've just got to focus.
You've got to get that balance right. But for me, on mining, it's always the same.
Yeah.
Whereas when I go salvaging, there's different ships, so I can go in and take the components out of the weapons out. Then there's a different parts of salvage that I'm doing as well. And then I've got a
different ship to strip and the way you do that.
And then because in the mining ships, I just fill my tanks and then go to refinery. On the salvage ship, I fill my holding tank and then pump it out and store it. So there's lots of little activities that I'm doing when I'm mining, but just
brain dead's the wrong word to use there.
It was brain dead was the wrong word to use, but I was meaning, when I'm tired and not really wanting to have to concentrate too hard, I want things that are just going to be enjoyable. And for me, I find salvage is that enjoyable activity that I do.
It's like when we talk about board games, Algared, there's some board games that really require attention and thought and depth, and then there's like the beer and pretzel game where you just sit back and talk the whole time where you're playing it, because you're really socializing.
I was going to say the difference between a beer and pretzel game and one that requires you to do mathematics. So and for me, that's the difference I find between salvage and mining. Salvage just gives me all those little flavors that I can do beer and pretzels. I can talk to people while I'm doing that, but I don't think I could do it when I'm mining.
It's a good thing in a game is because there's two that you can go between different things like that. So you get sick of one thing, you go to another, and you get your different gameplay styles in different places. I actually like that.
Yeah, and that's, I suppose, what I like about that's the salvage. I can be doing salvage. I can be stripping the ship, and then I get bored of doing that. And now I can go, okay, I'm going to just disintegrate that one. But then I've got the things I can pull out. I've got the loading, moving stuff into the cargo bay, and it's just lots of different activities I can be doing. So anyway.
Hey, Squall says, with New World going under and cancelled, what do you think that would mean for Star Citizen? It uses Lumberyard and AWS, and with it being cancelled, do you think it will affect SC anyway? I did think about this myself during the week, actually, Chaos Call, and I don't think it will. I think it will kind of, if anything, kind of maybe help them come back to games in the future. The problem with AWS, right? And I've listened to a lot of other content creators talk about this subject, and I do tend to agree. They made 3 MMOs, right? And if you actually look at where they sit in the all-time ratings, both New World and butchering the name of the other one, but it was the one that was a Korean MMO that then they brought over to America, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was actually even higher ranked than New World. But they were in the both top 10 games of all time on Steam. But the problem was retention, right? So they didn't either. So let's look at traditionally what is problem. They either don't have enough content, they don't keep up the pace. You know, there's all these things, right? So they were making them that were good enough, but they weren't able to hold the audience. And one of the things that came out to me as someone that played New World myself was they just didn't listen to the community. They just did what they wanted to do. And you know as well as I do, people talk about fan service like in Marvel movies, right? But they're the people that are going to see them. So if you don't give them the fan service, they ain't going to go. It's just that simple. And we've seen a decline of the Marvel movies as an example because of that. It's exactly the same thing. It's just a game instead of a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. Algared, did you ever look at New World or flirt with New World? Or?
I did play New World for a while. I got bored of it.
Yeah. And what was it? Was it the changes, lack of content? What was your story?
I think it was lack of content. And one thing I was going to say, and I thought you pretty much had covered it anyway, but I remember that was one of the concerns that Dyson had with Star Citizen, that it would be shallow. In other systems, but I think as time's gone on, as we've seen Stan fleshed out, as we've
the other way,
it really put really laid to rest that concern he had. Even Nix, which was a pretty empty system, is pretty chocolate.
I think the original, if they had released the game in like 2016, 2017, I think that's what we would have got.
Like
but I think now it's completely the other way. Flying Wombat said XU meaning Lost Ark. Yes, that is the one I was thinking of. Thank you very much. And the one in Lost Ark, the reason why that died was they made it way too grindy and way too full of microtransactions. So for example, I could grind for 20 weeks to get something, but then Algared could come along Misty Moneybags and just spend $400 and instantly get it. And it made me feel like an absolute sucker for playing that game because I'd put in the work and earned it where he could just spend money and buy it. So I don't like games like that. I hate shit like that. It's all got to be earned.
You want to have the balance.
Yep.
You want to have the balance between time poor and time rich. And
that's a really good question, Sizzolano. He says, how is that different from Star Citizenships? Well, right now we don't have the game really to play, but eventually the sales of those ships will go away and it's only new ships that be able to purchase. So yes, I do agree. It is a little bit like that right now, but it is a cart before the horse problem. And again, you also still need crew to crew them and all that type of thing. So again, in Lost Ark, it's just you and that's it.
Yep.
So, all right. Next one, Algared.
I was just looking at Dats and Insults. He was saying that World of Warships apparently has a new Black Friday event where you can spend up to $400 to get a raw ship. Yeah, well.
Yeah, no thanks.
No, thank you.
World of Warships lost me when they nerfed the submarines. And submarines were already shitter than other ships, but because most players were annoyed by submarines, they just nerfed them into the ground. And
that'd be right.
And it was like these people didn't even play subs. So yeah, you after I'd spent a couple of $100 and you nerfed them in the ground, I just didn't play anymore. Yeah, wasn't giving you any more money.
Snide comment, but I'll avoid making some snide comment.
Yeah. Well, they brought out another game. And they put it in early access and then they closed it. It was that mech game I told you about where you were you were in the world, you were heaps bigger. Steel Hunters. It looked really cool and I was enjoying it. And then they obviously didn't have the numbers and they shut it down. And it's because everyone that was playing it was super scared of because you'd look at it and you'd go, this tech tree is exactly the same as the World Warship one. And you just went, I don't want to play this anymore because they're going to monetize it and this is going to be a fucking nightmare. And you looked at all the tech trees in, every time you want to move something in World Warship, you got to pay for it. It was just like, no. Like it was literally the exact same. And just like,
Yeah,
I don't want to pay for this because every time I make a mistake, it's going to cost me money to undo it, and it's just like, no, fuck that.
Well, originally it was World of Tanks, World of Airplanes or Warplanes, and then World of Ships. And the World of Airplanes one is just that died. I don't think anyone plays that anymore. It's I think War Thunder just caused that to die a horrible death.
Yeah, I think one of them have the ships and one of them have the planes. Basically, two different companies, as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
World of Tanks, World of Warships, and World of Planes had 3 different games that did all 3. But War Thunder had ships and planes and tanks. But yeah.
Right. Donnie asks, would utility suites with deployable seating be a solution to setting up engineering consoles? I just think they need a chair, but like, again, not all of them can fit a chair in it, but like a little fold out seat that comes out from the wall is not a hard thing to ask for.
I was just picturing utility suit, kind of like a walker frame that's kind of attached to rather comical.
Again, if it becomes a massive issue, I guarantee you they'll address it, and it would just be another thing along the way that was discovered during development. The entire reclaimer has now become an educational teaching tool about what not to do, but they had to build it to learn that, didn't they?
Yeah, and it may even be as simple as if you're logged into the terminal, even if you're standing, you're not tossed to and fro by.
Right now, it does.
Algared.
You just get thrown straight off it.
Yep. And a problem with that. But, they can fix it multiple ways. Doc Ox SC says, a similar question to what has already been asked, but where do you see medium ships, Zeus, Spirit, etc., solo, post-engineering, and does the marketing around ships change with engineering? Or does marketing around ships change with engineering?
I think that's one of the cool things about medium ships. You can take it either way. So if you want to be solo, you can just go into a low security area, a high security area, and still use it effectively. And then as you add friends as they come in, then you can go into the medium and low.
And I think that really ties into that question, which I think you're alluding to, is which ship is the biggest ship you can go to take solo these days?
Yeah. I probably wouldn't try to go without AI, right? Without AI, I think I wouldn't go any bigger than the Connie or the Corsair or MSR or something like that. That's where, especially something like the MSR, there's only really designed for 3 people anyway. So I think you can kind of get away with that.
Yeah, and the Connie is effectively three people if you don't have the
Merlin,
the snub.
Yeah,
So and the Corsair pretty much in the same boat. And all 3 of those ships are effectively, the Connie and the Corsair feel like they're. I know the Connie is that large ship, but it's really the smallest size of a large ship, or it's the largest of the mediums. It's in that kind of area, and that's kind of the limit I'd be saying. That's the limit of solo ship. Do you think the battle cruiser will be a carrier? No, it'll be a battle cruiser.
I think it'll probably take some ships inside it, though. I think you'd agree with me on that. I look at the Bengal. I look at the Javelin. The Javelin can take 1 ship. The Bengal can take a few. I'd have to assume it's.
Well, the Bengal is a carrier. You mean the Idris or?
No. We're talking about combat ships, right? So he's talking about the battle cruiser, which is between the Javelin and the Bengal.
Right, but the Bengal is your carrier, so.
Yes, but listen. Just listen to what I'm saying. He's literally saying, will it be a carrier? No, I don't think it'll be classed as a carrier. It'll be classed as a battle cruiser. But that said, I think it will carry some ships because the Javelin carries a ship and the Bengal carries many. So 1 or 2 maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Look, and if you look at every other ship, you look at the Idris, it can carry ships. You look at the Polaris, it can carry a ship. You look at the. So there's certain precedents that would say the battle cruiser would carry something,
but not a carrier, as in like a Kraken or an Idris or a Bengal. No, I think it will be a lot more. There'll be more utility or one-off attack ship type thing. you know, I think the clear thing is it's most likely Anvil. I would really like to see it be Anvil. I think you'd be on the same room with me on that,
the mythical capital ship that we've heard lots of from Anvil. Yes.
Yeah. We've all been asking for it for many, many years. So it just makes a lot of sense to make that an Anvil. Worst case scenario, they take one of the Bengal ones and modify it, like we saw in the in the trailers and stuff like that. So the battle, they because isn't that what they used to do with ships back in the day? You're the history buff when it comes to World War II and stuff. But isn't that what battle cruisers and that were initially? There was like, I don't know which one goes where, but there was one that was like all the armor, and then they'd strip all the armor off, and that would be the faster one, but they just changed the name.
Yeah. So the battleships were your heavily armored. The battle cruisers were tended to be step up from a cruiser, which was lightly armored and fast, but didn't have as heavy guns. And the battle cruisers were that stopgap, that kind of in between. It wasn't gutting one, but it was putting a ship in between, so you'd have less armor, but speed and the bigger guns.
Yep.
So
they'll mix and match. So again, if the Bengals got that massively insanely huge gun, where the Javelin has less armor and smaller guns, you just by what you've said there, I'd have to assume that it's probably got big guns but less armor. So not as big and bulky as the Bengal, but maybe it's got a really big gun. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, you know, if you've got battle cruisers, I'd want to see what's a cruiser and what's the battleship. Well, we know the battleship in Star Citizen is effectively the flagship that
Admiral Bishop is
Bishop has.
You're getting stuck into Mass
the
Effect
Retribution.
There. Be careful there. Yeah, the Retribution.
The Retribution there. It's about our battleship.
Yeah.
Or our super heavy battleship. We don't actually have a cruiser at the moment.
Wait, what? Hang on. Gotta check something there. Keep going.
So where did the battle cruiser fit in if you're looking at that kind of thing? And yeah, it'd be nice. Look, any ship they bring out is always nice. How it fits is another thing, but yeah.
I think someone is trying to lie to me. I'm going to double check before I say
anything. Size 4s. Ooh, yeah, I'd have to check that too.
Do you want to do the next question, please, mate?
Yeah, so the next question is Cody Fox 00. I'm assuming you were checking that one on the Bengal comment.
No, I'm checking the one by James in Twitch.
Okay.
This here, I'll show you this one. Don't read it.
All right.
That one. Because I think he's trolling.
Okay.
Yeah, we're currently putting together a new 4.0 build, possibly EVK release tonight. We are also still working on 4.3. Well, I don't have it on my account, so I'd say that it's not been released, and it does say Friday, implying that it's not it's definitely not a release candidate. But what James was saying was that 4.4 has been released to Evo. Well, that's not true because it's not coming up on my launcher. Unless I've got to recopy my account over.
Yeah,
but
possible.
I will double check that, but it usually is not the case. It usually just automatically applies. So I will go check.
Yep.
But yeah, you want to do the next question, please?
Yep. So the next question while you're getting that is Dillman 94 says, do you think bespoke distortion size 5 weapon would make the Meteor viable?
Ooh, okay. Well, yeah, it just hasn't been activated.
There you go. There you go.
See if it works. And I'll have to log out and log back in, but I will try. Maybe he was not trolling. We'll see.
Yep. Look, not a fan of the Meteor.
Yeah, sure, James. You'll have to send it to me on Discord though, because the bot will nerf you.
So, I'm not a.
Or send it and you'll get nerfed, and I'll grab it. Either or, but you'll get timed out for like a minute. It's up to you.
So Dillman's question about
it's there. It's there. Look, it's there. It is live. All right. So 4.4 has been released to Evo.
So
that is a very, very late patch. That is like almost 5 a.m. In half an hour, it'd be 5 a.m. Wait. So 9.
Yeah.
1 is 4. 4. Yeah, it's almost 5 a.m. It's 4:30 in the morning, and they released that. That's crazy.
Yep.
crazy that they're there.
Bourbon Gaming does say that the Evo patch is up.
Yeah, I know that's the time there in Austin,
the
guys.
Drop, sorry.
I know you. Yeah, you guys are in Austin, but they released the patches from Manchester. Manchester, it's literally almost, it's 4:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy dedication. And you cannot call those dev dedicated, man. That is crazy. 4:30 in the morning.
That's not dedication. That's insane. One hopes they get time. Well, as we were told in the past, you know, when we're talking crunch time and do they give you, do they pay you or do you get time in lieu? And we were told
yes,
people choose.
Yeah, so G-Cube, they do release from Austin, but they're made in Manchester and then sent to Austin, and the patches go out from there. So the servers run in Austin, but they're produced in Manchester. So someone had to make it and build it and then send it to Austin. That's crazy to me that there's someone there at 4:30 in the morning. Dude, that guy should be on the big bucks. And
it's 3:30. Sorry, it's 3:30.
Is it 3:30? We're an hour out.
You're an hour out, mate.
Oh, it's after Zip. Okay, all right. So they're saying
now I'm getting told it's 2:30 in the UK. So the times.
I'll do it myself.
It's getting earlier.
It's getting earlier every minute. They're making shit up as they go along. Right, London. It is 2:30. It's 2:30 right now in Manchester.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so still,
that's pretty late.
That's pretty late, but 4:30. God, that was insane. Yeah. All right, no worries. But again, I don't think we can say that they're not passionate people staying there to that late.
No.
Dedication.
Right. It's only 2:30 a.m. Only 2:30. Yeah.
Yep. Dealman.
Donald's question was: would bespoke weapons, or do you think bespoke distortion size 5 weapons would make the media viable? Now, I'm not a fan of the media, so in my opinion, nothing makes it viable. But that's my opinion.
I think some variety to all ships can make them more viable, as in the ones with bespoke weapons, whether it be the Wolf or more variety, more player choice is always a good thing. Do I think it'll ever make it not a glass cannon? No. I think it's always going to be a glass cannon, and I don't think there's any way you can change that. And at $245 or whatever the price was, you can pick so many much better ships.
Yeah.
The fact that the Corsair is like $5-10 more would be my prime example.
Yeah, and like you look at the advantage of being able to swap out or have choices for bespoke weapons you use. At the moment, media turns up, you know exactly what it's got. But if you've got the ability to swap out the weapons, that little bit of what am I facing? Am I facing distortion weapons? Am I facing lasers? Am I facing ballistics?
We should just start calling it the RSI Disco.
No, well, it needs to have flashy lights for that because he wants it.
It has a disco skin on it.
Oh, there you go.
So anyway, but yeah, I would like to I more player choices is never a bad thing. And again, that ship in the right hands is damn deadly. I've seen some people do some really cool things in it, but it's just super niche. And super niche, like let's think of another example, the Eclipse, $300. You know, like that's insane to me. Like, you know, you've got a Caterpillar, a Redeemer, a Paladin, an Asgard. You've got ships below that as well, like the Apollo. I think the Apollo is probably only slightly under it now. But you get what I mean, right, Algared? Like for the price,
well, $50 more. Back then, you could have picked up a Reclaimer, a Hull C, an Endeavour, and a Crucible. You know,
But also, there are ships now in the game, much like the Eclipse, and the cost to rearm the Eclipse is insane.
I know.
You know, it's got a lot of outgoings and not a lot of incomings. I'll just put it that way. I know it was really convenient to do missions back in the day. Like, you remember those Hammerhead? Fuck. Okay, I got a wasp in my room.
Yeah, I could hear it.
Fuck me. Yeah, it landed on the microphone. Fuck me. That's a huge ass wasp. Where the fuck did he go? Motherfucker.
X is going on an insect hunt.
He's on my fucking headphones. You son of a bitch.
And And he is scared, you know.
No, I'm allergic. That's why.
Yep, that's why. Yeah.
So I have a big can of Raid. Live in Australia. This is the East side of Australia. Big can of Raid. That's it. I think I got him. I think he will be dead. But the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, just vacate. But
No, it just came up into my house, my face.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I saw it. We saw. He made it crank. He's made it cranky. It'll die in a few minutes. Don't worry. Hopefully.
Trying to attack me.
What happens when you spray them with Raid? They are pretty savage, I will admit. And then Norway got cold. Well, there you go. But yes, they do. If they're the wasps that I've seen, they that I've had up here, yeah, they're mate, you be afraid of wasps. In Australia, they are nasty. Spiders, they just sit there. But yeah. What question we're up to?
Sorry,
while we wait for X to come back. No, it's okay.
I don't even know where it is now.
Well, hopefully the raid has kicked in. That's right.
No, we're going on like right in front of my face. Like it was like literally flying at my face with its stinger.
Yeah, we could see it on screen. So yes, we did see the wasp on screen. At least I saw the wasp on screen. Don't know if anyone else noticed it, but I did. Yes, and and if you've got an allergy to such bugs, yes, anaphylaxis is not a nice thing, and a bee sting or a wasp sting could certainly see the end of individuals. So it's. Yeah.
I think that's why it was angry, because it knew it was dying.
Yep.
But I can't see it anywhere. But because of the green screen, I'm kind of boxed in with it. So once it got in here, there's only really one way out, and it's that direction, because this 2 walls.
Well, as long as it's not over there where the exit is, you're fine.
If I die, well, you know, I go down swinging.
Yep.
Not really.
That's right. You've got your raid. Citizen Ninja, what colours do you think the best in-show paints will be?
We showed this last week with the silver and copper.
And copper.
It looks like it's going to be more yellow now. I've got a picture. Hang on, give me a second.
I will say that the chat did come alive when you reacted.
That is
fast.
That is going to be on. That is 100% going to be clip of the day. I guarantee it'll be on there. I thought I saw, and my heart is going a million miles an hour because, face swells up and I'll be in hospital, that type of shit.
Yep.
My buddy brother leaving the front door open. I'm gonna have to have words with him again. He thinks it's funny.
A bit like no, the snakes are nothing.
Snakes are nothing.
Spiders are nothing. Snakes are nothing. Wasps, they're deadly. They're nasty. But yeah, so it's
here we go.
The chat did go super fast while it was there. It's certainly it was nice to see the chat come alive. Thank goodness we've got a bot to pick up questions, because that would have made all the questions disappear off the stream.
Here we go. Excuse me. I think you'd agree that it's moved now more towards a gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I start to think. So this is the weird thing. You know, I said Asperia making the Vandal stuff. So the ship is a Prowler by Asperia, but the gold is probably more like RSI now. But I think it's got a slight bit of orange in there that is like that coppery bronze. I'm starting to lean more towards the Vandal stuff now. Is where my brain is going.
Yep. Now, good question for you, X. From Daft Zippo in Twitch. Do you have your EpiPen ready?
No, I don't have an EpiPen.
You should get yourself an EpiPen.
I don't have one. I just don't. That's the first time I've had it. There's only ever been a wasp in this room twice. And what I was about to say, the coolest thing I ever seen before I ran off, right, was my cat, right, Jax, you know, the boy cat with the white on him and the ginger. He was on the bed and fully ninja style, just jump off the bed like crazy madman. And both me and the other cat were on there going, what the fuck are you doing? Comes back and he's like, pulls out his Wolverine claws like this, and there's a wasp on his claws, like he's literally Wolverine out of the air.
Very good.
I was the most impressed dad I've ever been. Oh, it was so cool.
You do. Okay, you do have your Medicare card, right?
Yeah.
Right, good. Just double checking.
Yeah.
Every Australian's got a Medicare card, Osbever. You should know that.
Yeah, I'm good. And I don't live far from a hospital. Like my hospital's only like 5-10 minutes away, so I don't really need one. So I'll be good. I'll be good. But man, it was
showing our concern.
It was a big wasp. Like it looked more like a queen. It didn't look like it had a really long ass on it. It was really weird.
We could see it on the screen.
I think it's a queen looking to lay a nest. That's what I think it is. I think she's searching for somewhere to lay her eggs. And that's why I zapped her, because she was bigger than a normal wasp. Anyway, all right. I'm sure someone will analyze that and have a good giggle at my expense. But I've got no idea where she's gone. I'm going to be very paranoid for the next couple of hours. Anyway, right.
Real Zombie Lord says, do we think that engineering will survive first contact with a general community base? And will engineering be the death of large ships in the verse? I feel like most people won't bother.
I think people will. I think people are going to embrace it because of what it adds to the game. I just think like every initial look at the flight system people, they've been complaining for years, but once engineering is in, you'll instantly understand why the old flight model couldn't exist. Instantly. Just instantly. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Look,
you get it, Algared. I know you get it.
Look, engineering, I think, engineering will survive first contact with the general community, because that's what CIG have been aiming for. The general community will embrace it, or they'll leave. And I can't see that generally happening. People who really don't like it will probably leave. I don't think it's the death of large ships. I think it's the death of large ships for flying around solo and expecting to be able to rule the roost. But I don't think people are not going to bother. I think people will bother because it's part of the gameplay and it adds so much.
I'm really paranoid to touch anything over here. It goes to get a bit just like expecting it to crawl. You know, like in arachnophobia where the spider. I'm expecting as a wasp to go.
A waspophobia.
Yeah. To cry and go, I will be avenged.
Abriophobia, or whatever you call it. Yeah, like everyone embrace master modes. Is Linamar. Yeah, look, master modes. Well, people don't like it. It's there for a purpose, because it shows a different gameplay and different roles that come in with those ships and how. Crack the dead wasp. It can be dying even when dead. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's why I wanted to see it, because like usually I zap a wasp or an insect and then it goes down and then I put it down, because I want to make sure it's dead, but I can't find it anywhere, wriggling anywhere. So it could have even just flown off. It could have gone up and over and it's gone back where it came from or whatever. But I don't think it's going to make out of this room, put it that way. I think it's just gone somewhere to die. Yeah. Oh.
Let's see. The real Donnie has a question. What's the current price of a Hull B?
$140 off the top of my head.
Something like that.
I'll double check for you real quick.
Let
me Google that for you.
Let's do the very simple Google. Star Citizen Wiki, wonderful tool.
Pledges $140 there, bang. But yeah, that's obviously going to go up when it comes out too. Yeah.
So in terms of the question relating to engineering and the impact it'll have, several people are saying it'll kill the game, or summarizes what some people have said. It'll
Well,
kill a
that's
game until they bring back, or if they don't scale it back until Blades and AI come in.
well, that's why I called the episode "Do or Die," because I think a lot of people are just not ready for it.
Yeah.
Just on the whole B before we move on, if you've got a raft, I'd highly recommend you pick up a CCU to this and just sit on it, just in case.
Yeah. It may be better than a raft.
It may not.
May not be.
But I think you'd be very unwise to not have that as a backup just in case.
And it may even be that, just like with everything else, a hull B is perfect for certain jobs and a raft is perfect for other jobs. So expect that to be the case as well. So
paranoid right now.
Yep.
Right.
Hellraiser says, when do we think the Vulcan will be coming out? When drones are in?
Yeah. And repair. I don't think it's going to be the first thing for repair. No. I think it'll be.
I think it'll be just a ship that's using a spray kind of army type thing rather than a.
And we've got repairing game right now, by the way. Even before engineering, those pipes, the pipes in the Onyx facilities where you got to. That's our first kind of. Yep. Well, my first kind of repair stuff. I know that they've had panels that you can do in Pyro, but I never got over there to do those. But there is a form of repairing game right now. So yeah.
Yep. The Aceman 747 says, do we need to keep RMC on board and a multi-tool?
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Yep. And I think it does show that you are going to have different people that do different tasks. And it is a multi-role, a multi-crew, multi-role.
And that's where those those canisters for RMC and stuff that you get on your salvage tools will be important as well, because you'll be using that material, filling it up, swapping tools and using it.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
That's an insult. Will Nix drop before or after IIE? What do you think?
I think it'll probably when I get in the Evo patch, I'll probably let you know.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely going to be the IIE patch here ready to go. I've got it downloading in the background. It's got like 3 gig to go, but obviously I'll have to let you know next week. Because I definitely won't get around to playing it until after this.
Yeah, I would expect if I was betting, I'd say at IIE, like the main patch for IIE, or just after. But that's what I'd expect.
Yep. I think they're pretty clearly doing them both at the same time. I think it's really obvious to me. Essentially every Citizen Con we've kind of seen, they essentially tell you what's coming at IIE type of thing, or the end of the year type of thing. So yeah. Yep.
Now, DG Gnome has an interesting point for Reclaimer. It will be like a hospital supplying goo to everyone. So it'll be supplying RMC to everyone. Although I think isn't the Vulture was the one that was going to be better at gathering RMC?
I have to go back. I haven't really looked at it yet.
Reclaimer does it in bulk, and the
quality over quantity.
Does the quantity?
Yeah,
quality. Quantity, not quality.
Vulture was quality.
Yeah.
Reclaimer was quantity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yep. I was just getting tied.
All good.
But yeah, so that might mean the Vulture is actually better at supplying the top quality stuff for repair, but who knows?
And it looks like the starter salvage is probably going to be powder related, because there's no ship that can do that currently. So I have to assume that that's what the small one does.
So we'll wait and see. Take your rope and do with it what you will.
Yeah, that's it.
Tomo86, if you're still here, we're finally up to one of your questions. He says, why do you need your desk?
Oh, so, these are the ones he asked that we answered. Yeah, we
that's
did.
The one we answered, yep.
And that one as well. So going to Flying Wombat.
Yep. Flying Wombat. What will normies complain about the most once engineering hits live?
I think it'll just be that they can't just turn their ship on and go anymore. It's more like it's going to break down because they don't maintain shit, and they just want to do combat, and they can't because they've got to fix their shit. That's what they'll complain about. or they can't just go
Yeah, I
out
can see
and
that.
do cargo because they also have to do a basic engineer as well. But it's like everything in game, all of us have to do a basic level of cargo. All of us have to do a basic level of combat. Well, engineering is just another one that you have to do the basics of. And repair falls under engineering. So,
yeah, and you know, if it goes back to the whole, I think, and I can remember even Chris talking about, you know, if you don't repair your ships, if you don't do this, if you don't maintain, you're going to have problems. And if you're constantly repairing your ships, if you're constantly checking things before you go, you're probably, in most cases, if you're just doing normal run-of-the-mill stuff and not getting into combat, you probably won't really ever encounter any problems.
Damon 1331 on Twitch says, I still want a large salvage ship between the Vulture and the Reclaimer. Me and Algared are kind of expecting one at AIE or maybe in December afterwards. We do know that they need to make 2 Xenu ships between the Nomad and the Pioneer. They've been working on the Pioneer, so they've more than likely been working on those 2 ships. And they did say that they were working on a large orange salvager in September. So I think usually when they tell us that, that means it's not that far away. So I would expect to see that. And they also said there was no more concept ships, so that would possibly mean this thing is straight to flyable. I think that heavily implies that. My brain at the moment is saying that that is more than likely the December ship. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it was in AIE. The main reason for that being selling 2 salvages at the same time seems a little off-putting. But we also had the president now of CitizenCon. They essentially sold 3 combat ships, or 3, very close to 3 gunships at the same time. Which they don't usually. They even said that themselves. We normally wouldn't sell these all in the same sale. But because Nyx is coming, they wanted to get some more combat ships out there to deal with the combat scenarios that they're deploying. So, that covers that.
Indeed. Donnie says,
yep,
the cutter has engineering. Will that also mean its variants for Rambler and the Scout will have some engineering, or will also have engineering? Yes,
every ship will have an engineering panel. Yes, absolutely.
And every ship will need to be repaired and have those same issues. And if it's got an interior,
Algared, there's another reason why the Aurora needs a rework.
Yep, because
doesn't have the panel.
Doesn't have a panel. Well, it doesn't have components at the moment. So.
Yeah, that too. But I guess not every ship will have I guess there's not exactly a reason for every ship to have an engineering panel, especially a starter. But they definitely need to have components that need to be repaired. But I think I'd be very surprised if they don't somehow integrate the engineering panel into one of the existing MFDs then.
Yeah, I would expect every ship that has an interior to have an engineering panel so you can actually fix things. I wouldn't expect fighters to necessarily have that.
Question for you. In the current Aurora, where would you put said panel? Very difficult.
I'd put it on the back, above the bed, as a roof panel. There you go.
You know where I'd actually put it? I'd put it outside and have it like an open panel.
All right, yeah, you could do that as well.
Because that'd be kind of cool. One that has a panel outside is kind of different.
I could see that for fighters. Like I could see fighters will need. Like I was just saying, fighters don't need one, but fighters will need one so you can see where the problems are, so you can fix them.
Not necessarily, because again, there's multiple ways you can address this. You can either put it on an MFD. Oh, here's the little ninja. This is Jax, by the way. He's the guy that caught the last wasp. You missed it. Where were you? My first thought was, where's my hero to come and ninja my wasp? And you weren't here, bro. He would have taken care of it though. If he'd seen it, he would have knifed it.
He'd have taken it.
Yeah, he would.
But
not every ship's going to need an engineering panel, so I don't think all starters will have them, just like I don't think all fighters will have them. But here's the other thing. Could you have a cart Algared that you essentially roll up next to a ship that actually has that engineering panel on it? Or even, we've seen engineers walking around with the notepads, remember?
Yeah.
Or like somehow wirelessly connects to the ship and just gives you the analogical, what do you call it? A readout?
Yeah,
analytical readout or something. So maybe you can do it that way. You get a tablet that gives it to you on a tablet.
I think, like, I was thinking fighters wouldn't need it, but you'll need some form of ability to see a readout for a fighter, so you can actually know what's damaged and what needs repair. Whether it's a panel, as one of the MFDs on your ship, that you change the screen to, whether it's some other feature. But I was originally thinking you wouldn't need it, but how are you going to repair your ship? How are you going to repair do your one fix on your fighter? And then if you don't know what's broken.
Well, you can walk around with a tool, right? And you can actually look at it and it tells you if it needs repair or not. So that's the downside. You've got to do it all manually. But if you've got the screen, it just tells you which one it is.
But that's the problem with fighter. And I know the fighter's got lots of issues.
But you've got to have
to walk around if I have to get out and walk around my ship rather than just doing my
well, that's but you know what I'm going to say. That's the negative to it. You've got to have a negative. Yeah, that's it. You've got to have a negative and you've got to have a positive.
Even if I can't repair my ship, without getting outside, being able to see what's wrong with it would be, But yeah,
you got to remember they get a one-time fix for free, which is pretty damn good. Like that's a get out of jail free card. Like like the big. You imagine that on a bigger ship? Oh, agent's gone down on the Javelin. Oh yeah, one-time fix. No worries. See you in another hour. It took them an hour to take it out. But no, thank you very much.
Like I think there's certainly going to be balance that comes in.
But it's I'm telling you right now, it's no longer a light fighter meta. It's
no. But we've known that. You and I have known that, and I'm pretty certain Paul and Space. We've known that for donkeys.
Yep.
And I'd like to think we've been saying that for donkeys, but at times it's felt like we're yelling into the void, and just aim the tricorder at the ship and find out what's wrong. Yeah, that
So Auckland, I assume you're talking about the one-time fix, but he says it only repairs 20%. I think that is correct. I'd have to double check that again, Auckland, but I'm not sure. But that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a stopgap that just essentially gets you fixed so you can get home. So it's not. So it's not exactly like takes you back to fighting form. So and it does. Apparently, it takes like a minute to work as well. So it's not going to be a fix everything, execute. What kind of?
Is it more when?
I think it's gonna be more balanced. I think it's gonna be more balanced. Is what I'm trying to say.
Is it with the fighters? Is it more that when they're soft death, they hit that repair, puts them up to 20%, they can fly away, or what? Do you know yet?
It apparently fixes one component.
All right, so it's not even soft death.
So say you lost your power, it could restore your power to 20%. It's generally enough to help you try and get home. That's what it's meant to be. But if you are if they've got you locked you down with a pirate, you're shit out of luck. And again, as I said, I think it should be some kind of consumable, maybe like a necklace thing or something that you can carry in your pocket or whatever, and it's something you crack and it releases nanites or something like that. That's how I would make it. I would make it a consumable. You essentially
it makes sense to be consumable.
You know what it could be? It's like a med pen, but for ships, and you stab it, and it literally you could have an effect on it that goes out across the surface of the ship, and it releases nanites.
And it takes a minute to get out there and fix that.
You put it in, you literally inject it into the component, and the nanites go in and repair the component. I reckon that'd be cool. But apparently it's designed to be in the ship, so you just press a button and it takes a minute, but it repairs it. So
if you can survive that minute. So Flying Wombat says, what you, me, and Paul have said in the past is coming true. And I think that's true.
But we're not reading tea leaves or anything. We're just literally looking at what
we're just going on what CIG have told us in the past, and like John and Ben said, if they haven't updated it, if they haven't said no, it's still on the cards.
The only advantage we have over other people, and there are other people that have been here as long as us, and they have the same advantage, is that we've just been here longer than most people. That's all it is.
Yeah,
we're not fucking wizards. We're just remembering shit we were told.
And the thing that gives us the edge over, say, someone else who's been here as long as us, is the fact that we keep
each other all in check. Yeah.
We keep each other in check. We keep reminding each other of things, and
we do this every week as well.
Yeah,
what stays active in our minds. You know,
it's amazing how when you're talking about it every week, and
it refreshes
it just keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
And then, we'll talk after the show or before the show. We'll talk with Paul, and all of that has an influence on us and just keeps us, reading Beer Whiskers.
All right. We are coming up on 3 hours, Algared. So I'm going to...
All right, we got a fast.
Yep.
Donnie.
Yep, go for it.
I've done that one.
Yep, next one. Call Me Teach says there is a strong portion of the community that is generally excited for engineering. Do you think their voices will be loud enough? Will CIG continue to appease the masses and remove it? No, it's coming.
I hope. I think it's coming.
It's coming. They've worked on it. They promised it. They've got to deliver on their promises.
Yep, and we're looking forward to it.
Yep.
What's your preferred solo salvage ship?
That was from the Aceman.
Yep.
Probably Vulture at the moment. Golem's
fun. Me, Reclaimer, and mainly because
Golem's
I can put stuff in it.
Golem's mining, terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's got a place for all ships. So, like, I'm not a big favorist person. I think that's pretty clear from the discussions you and I have had over the years, Algared. You'd agree with that. I tend to like all ships for what they are. So yeah, at the moment, probably just the Vultures, like, handy, but I do love being out in a big crew doing the Reclaimer too. So
look, I originally was taking the Vulture because I just was doing it by myself because of time, and it frustrated me that I couldn't put components or weapons or stuff in it, and so I just started taking Reclaimer. So yeah, next one. Question: do you believe this is SA? SA 5102 says, do you know? I believe not using mechanics is as important as using them. What are the subtleties of mechanics you're most looking forward to?
So many pieces in there. It's hard to tell until I get in and play with it more. To be honest, it would be my answer to that. But there's so many parts to engineering. It's it's like repair, it's destruction, it's the fire. Like I guarantee there's going to be people that just love putting fires out. Just that alone. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Damien1331 on Twitch said, Vulture just filled up too quickly for me. That's why I took the Reclaimer. I like staying out for a long time, just bit logging in between. Yep. But yeah, with the mechanics thing, I think the thing will be if I've got someone who is really, really into repair and doing that stuff, man, they're going to be awesome.
Yep.
So yeah. Ocean 911 says. Question is, how many dozens of battle cruisers will Algared buy?
He probably won't buy any because I'm going to be honest, it should never have been even hinted at being sold. The biggest ship you were meant to buy in Star System is the Javelin. I really think that he misspoke. I really do.
I really do think he misspoke.
And if they even plan about selling it, I think you'll find a lot of people in the community are going to have a big problem with it. Because let's be honest, Algared, you would agree with me as a Javelin owner. The people most likely to want to buy that would be the Javelin people. Owners, so by pissing them off, you're pissing off the most likely people to buy it.
Especially if you've got to buy it with cash and not melted stuff, and you don't have an option to upgrade.
And they literally said the Javelin will be the biggest purchasable ship you'll ever be able to earn. For me, the battle cruiser is an earning game, just like the Bengal.
Yep. Look, I would love to, if I had an option, I would trade ships to get a Pegasus carrier or a battle cruiser, but yeah.
I think Disco was just trying to give an example of concept ships, and he just picked one that would never exist. He literally just used that one because they'd been talking about it earlier. So yeah.
Ronnie Bollinger, 1883 says, when will CIG make their math make sense? You have 2 power plants that provide 21 points of power each. That equals 42 points of power, and you get 24 points of power.
I would need to know the context of what ship and that you're talking in, and again, what are the draws, like what weapons are being drawn, what size of components. That is too complicated a question to answer with a yes or no, so to speak. Oz Veteran says, how much money do you think SC will charge for skins for the purchase when it is released? God knows. Carrack was what, $26 or something? It'd be in that ballpark potentially, but I think they're learning the lesson that a lot of people are not prepared to spend that much money. The patch bundles this year have been disgusting. They are the worst monetization this game has ever had, in my personal opinion. They should never have been bundled. I do not want them to bundle things. I'm happy to buy individual things, but bundling is a practice that should have died along when Water World Ships came up with a terrible idea. And whoever is the marketing manager, I hope you get the message loud and clear that you need to separate them. They have been dropping in price, if you guys haven't noticed, almost month on month.
Yep.
And that's because people aren't buying them because, again, said ship comes out, you don't have that said ship, but you want the armor. Well, I just avoid the whole thing because I'm paying money for stuff that I don't want. That's insult. Will solo players end up being at the mercy of orgs in the longer game? Algared, you can answer that one.
Well, solo players will be at the mercy of any multi-cruise ship if they're not careful.
Yep, and I agree. Absolutely. But hey, guess what? If a lot of solo players get together, they become an org.
A swarm.
Well, they can make their own org. Anyway, right. Call me teach. My question kind of goes along the same lines, but okay. So that one's we can avoid that one. Next one, Algared, you go ahead.
Smith Boga says, "How do you think they will make flying large ships worth it since zero advantage on using them? It's like they aren't even a force multiplier."
They will again look at what they said about the Reclaimer, quantity over quality. So they are, that literally is a force multiplier.
Using a Reclaimer, I prefer using a Reclaimer over the Vulture.
Wait till you sit in the new thing then, Algared. She's quick. She's quick now. But yeah, Dillman says Galaxy has a stated crew of 1 to 6. Is the Galaxy not the largest solo ship? I
actually always thought the 890 was probably the largest because they used to say.
Well, I think when you say 1 to 6, it doesn't count the module.
Yeah,
I think it's with no modules at all, or just like a cargo variant. Because I think as soon as you add some of those modules, like as soon as you add a refinery or a medical module, that requires extra people again.
Yep. I still think the 890 is probably the closest to largest soloable because it uses less crew.
Yep. Again, it's
a lot more.
Risk versus reward, what part of space you're in, high versus low versus what quality of the ship you're in. Are you in Drake versus Orange? There's a lot of moving parts there. I think the question you would agree, Algared, is yes, you can solo pretty much any ship, whether you should.
Yes.
Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? Do NPCs in the game yet? Yes or no? That there's a lot of moving parts there.
Yep, and a lot of that is just stuff we can't do.
Yep.
If I see that right, Aceman, I do believe. No, did that pop up? Aceman, 1 gift sub.
When?
Just popped up on my screen. So.
No, that was ages.
That's the old one.
That was ages ago. Yeah.
No.
Algared's living in 1997. Welcome to the future, Algared.
Well, thank you for that earlier sub.
Yes,
Aceman.
Nice cover there, Algared. Nice recovery. Right. Flying Wombat says, "Will we see drones next year or early next year?" Well, the first implementation is base building, so whenever that comes along.
My answer to that is it's a matter of priority.
Yep.
And when it's needed.
And I'd agree. That's an insult. Why don't salvage ships spray RMC back as basic repair? I don't think we have a working repair ship in game yet, do we?
Yep, because they haven't decided to put it in yet. And I imagine that repair ships will do that.
I do know when we looked at the Crucible thing, there was a whole thing that looked like it had all these tanks and stuff. Yep. So assume something along those lines.
It's got masses of cargo space for repair type components and materials and stuff. So
Robert Voles says, what do you think the whole B will go up to? I see it's generally a 10 to 20% jump on all ships. So 14 to, so let's just round that to 15. So $15 to $30. It would be my guess. I think Algared would agree with me on that. But again, they've had some outliers this year. But anyway, Abyss Inanian? Is that meant to be letters instead of numbers? Inane? Bisanane?
Bisanane.
What do you think that CIG can do to make engineering gameplay have lore background with its own jargons? Personally, I'm disappointed they didn't come up with the cool words for tech like Star Trek. I'm going to leave this one to you, Algared, because you're the lore guy.
I'm glad they didn't do that, like the Star Trek jargon, because Star Trek jargon is often meaningless.
What about the sonic screwdriver, Algared? They missed a huge opportunity.
Well, that's Doctor Who. That's
I know, but this is another sci-fi.
That's a totally different story, and that's perfectly valid.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I do hope once we've kind of got Beam Citizens and they go back and add some low and high tech versions of repair, I think it'd be really cool to do the whole manual spanner thing, and or have a drone fix it or something like that. And I mean inside, not a drone outside, but you get my point.
And it'd be nice to have your parts in the components you need to replace, like the capacitor or the
subcomponents.
So and maybe that's where we'll get some of our jargon.
Yep. Deadfrag says, when will CIG continue finally provide me with a Polaris racing module? They will never give you a racing module.
Put
by the way,
competition components in.
Is Deadfrag in chat? I'm going to have to time him out. He's asked that every time he comes on. He's trying to troll at this point.
No, he's just trying to troll you.
There he is. I've got him now. Cool.
Flux capacitor, yes. We need flux capacitor, Damien. Franca Blue says, what conditions blow up a ship since engineering is in? Just power plant malfunction? I imagine everything could eventually do it.
Yeah. What condition blew up a ship once engineering is in? I think it's going to take a lot to blow them up. I think they kind of deteriorate.
Soft death. Yep.
Well, not even soft death anymore. Like it's more in pieces now. So like a component can break down and cause a fire, and it'll burn from one end of the ship to the other. So think of it more like a candle doesn't even cut it. It's like a building that can burn. Like how do you destroy a building, Algared? You got to literally smack the shit out of it till the whole thing's flat. It's kind of the same thing with a ship now. It's all in pieces. It's got to be broken up into pieces and completely destroyed. It's not just, at the moment, soft death is almost just like turning the lights off, but the house is still there floating in space. So that's probably going to be, but to literally destroy it, you're going to have to smack the shit out of it. So soft deathing isn't killing it. It's just that it's got to be repaired and brought back to life. So I have no doubt that'll happen with some ships. Like they'll attack it, it'll soft death. They'll start to try and board you, and you'll be defending, and then they'll turn it back on and get the hell out of there. You know.
And then pork boarders who are stuck on board more there. Yeah. Either succeed or die horribly. Frank, that was that one.
Yeah.
Dead Frag.
Yeah.
If Aurora gets a rework, will Aurora Squadrons finally make a comeback?
It is getting a rework. I don't think it's really designed to be a squadron ship. Personally, I think we can clearly see now it's a starter. Not to say I don't think people will go out in their little starters and do stuff like that. It'd be nice to see that type of thing. We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, there's always a race. There's always a Crux Cup with the Aurora Classic. Need I say more? And our last question, finally got there, is by Shady Phaser 9928, and he says, or they say, doesn't Microtech sell diagnostic machines for ships? Probably, but they're just a thing at the moment. If they do. And that was it. So we can fast track questions when we want. We don't always want. We like to talk about them.
All right. Bops has just started streaming again. I don't know. I had a look, but I can't see anyone else on that I know. So we're just going to raid Bops again. Again, because we're doing a different time. It's not a time where I know anyone. I was hoping Paul was going to be on and we could raid Paul, but
yeah, no, he's usually started by now. But I think he, I did see a message. He was earlier in the week, but he was taking time out to relax, to recover. But that was earlier in the week.
So I want to hear your ask Bops his thoughts on engineering, and is he looking forward to it? And you got to remember, he's a PvP guy.
Yeah, he's a PvP fighter type dude. So what's his thoughts on engineering and how it'll affect fighters and PvP?
So we'll be watching. So Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. And they're gone.
They're gone.
All right, let's have a listen in. You muted? I can hear music, but I can't hear him talking. I'll let him know. I've just typed to him.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! I was muted because I was having a quick chat to someone. I appreciate you guys. Welcome. Appreciate you. Thank you for the follow, Flying Wombat.
Yeah, I double checked it myself and he was muted, and I was like, oh, hang on.
Come on in. What's wrong with me? Why can't I deal? Ciziano, welcome to the Cutie Club. Plenty of cuties here, and you are now one of them. Hi, Inforunners. Did someone shout Inforunners out?
Yeah, they did. Good.
Surely someone has shouted them out. Yeah, someone has. No? Yeah, someone has. Good. Guys, you already know this. Make sure you go and follow Inforunners. They are the best.
I was asking about engineering.
Very much around here.
We'll have to go on from next time, YouTube. They didn't ask him about engineering.
Go and follow them if you are not already following them. Also, if you've just got here, guys, we're doing a giveaway for a Perseus. We're giving a Perseus away.
He just gave a Paladin away too.
You know what a Perseus is. And we're giving one away. So follow. Make sure you follow.
Yep.
All right.
There you go. Go on YouTube.
Get involved with the giveaway.
Go over there and you can win yourself a Perseus. But yeah, good luck to Bops. I'll go hang around with him in a bit. What are you going to do for the rest of the day, Algared?
So I've got to cook. Get out of this clobber.
Can anyone else? I was going to say, can anyone else picture Algared cooking in a tie? Like, that's very suave of you. Ooh, sipping the wine. Sipping the spoon. Yeah, I can see that.
Done that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Been there, done that. Yeah, so the usual well, not the usual afternoon. Usually it'd be race off to shops and get groceries. Did that this morning.
Yes.
I may actually be able to chill and
I'm going to de-stress and de-wasp myself. I'm going to fumigate my entire room. But yeah. All right, with that then, we're going to do a show this weekend too, don't we? Shit, we're out of ones in the bank.
We do need to do a show.
We'll have to have a talk about that and do it tomorrow. All right then.
Yeah, because we certainly can't do it this afternoon now.
No, we can't. Well,
that is a disadvantage of doing a show.
That is a disadvantage, but yeah. With that, then don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went the extra mile at the end of the video on Patreon. Right.
Indeed. Most appreciated, always.
With that, then he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.